Hey everybody, I'm Morgan.
And this is Ryan.
And we're talking chitty.
That's what people say, man. That's cool. Thank you. I appreciate that.
He has that, the panda.
It sounds prestigious.
He does. Stoic.
Yeah.
Stoic.
So, man, so we have with us today, oh yeah, we're recording, by the way, Chase. We have Chase.
With BCKnives.
With BCKnives.
He made a really awesome.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah. He made an awesome blade for Ryan.
Sick-ass knife.
Yeah.
Hey, I've been cutting the shit out of some string with that, by the way. Sharp as fuck. You say you're not.
That's what it's for.
Dude, you say you're not good at sharpening knives. That motherfucker is sharp as shit. I actually, I was wearing my leather gloves, and I have some deerskin leather gloves. I fucking love those because they already come to you where it's real.
They're awesome.
Yeah, so you know what these. Okay. Well, man, I'm glad I had them on because I was using your knife. I turned around to look at something, and then boom, cut on my finger, and it just split open the glove. Didn't even touch my finger, so pretty badass.
Wow.
Your knives are sharp as fuck. Don't ever degrade yourself as a knife sharpener.
So Chase says how we know Chase is through our friend Jim Christie.
From Jimmy and the Johnsons.
Y'all are cousins, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, we're cousins.
That's awesome.
We've been stomping around together for a long time.
That's cool. And we met Chase, how long ago was that?
When did we meet you, Chase? Was that 2014?
I thought I'd come out there in 12.
Oh,
okay.
Shit. Oh, yeah, okay.
12, or it was like mid-12, I thought.
So we got moved into the house July 12th, so it must have been later that year.
So it must have been the 12th, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to see our Granger house.
Yeah, you had your house was rebuilt already, and
Nice.
we come out there in between rig jobs. We were looking
That's
for
right.
go offshore, trying to.
Nice.
That's right. And so I guess I kind of want to hear how you got into forging in general. Like what made you want to do that?
Really, I've always been interested in knives, as most boys, when they're kids and whatnot. They like sharp things, stuff that can hurt you.
Fuck yeah.
But honestly, that show, the Forge and Fire show, is what got us to the point where, or me and my dad, 'cause we're in business together. I'm in business with my dad.
Nice.
Very nice.
He doesn't make a whole lot. He hasn't made a whole lot of knives so far. He made some. But he's got he gets on these little tangents where he'll like do blacksmithing as well. That's why we got the coal forge, and he'll come in here and try to he makes a lot of tools and stuff.
Nice.
For future projects. But that show got us into it. Once I started watching that show and got him watching it, we kind of realized, look, we can do this.
Sure.
And
That's awesome.
I never was planning on doing it because you can do it for cheap, but you got to be very, very, very handy. And I'm handy, but I don't know if I'm handy enough to make every single tool I need and have it work well. I mean, I probably could, but it'd take me a while.
You probably could.
And
Sure.
and I didn't have the time. I was working a regular job. I was installing communication towers for a company about an hour from here.
Okay.
And so I do common tires. We do anything from 50 foot to 300 foot.
Oh, geez.
Towers. Yeah.
And you had to go up
That was
there?
the I didn't climb all the time, but I definitely climbed some. The highest I've ever been is 200 foot.
That
Holy
is so
shit.
cool.
I didn't know I was afraid of heights until I went to Airborne school. And they opened the doors to this plane at 1,000 feet. And I'll go ahead and tell them myself. A lot of people don't know this story about me, actually. And when you first get into Airborne school, you get put into this chalk. Well, I wanted to be in the very back of this chalk because I figured I don't want to be the first person to jump out of the plane.
What's a chalk?
It's just a...
Chalk is like a group, right?
Yep, as a group of people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so anyways, I'm in the very back of this chalk thinking, yeah, I'm going to be the last one to jump.
Mm-hmm.
What turns out is they load the plane in reverse order. So number one guy becomes the very last guy. The very last guy becomes the number one guy right by the door.
Yeah.
So they open the door.
Yeah.
They open the door and, they're just staring at me like, oh, now you got to jump, right? And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
fuck
What are you
that.
doing?
Yeah, dude, these 200-foot Georgia pine trees, man, look like just tiny little ants. And I'm thinking, fuck no, I'm not doing this. So I'm thinking right there, fuck this, I'm done. You know what? I'm tapping out. This is too much for me. I never was afraid of heights, but that's the day I learned I was. So they moved me to the side, and this woman who's maybe 5'3", 100 pounds soaking wet. I'm making up numbers here. But she was tiny, tiny little woman. And they grab her. And they grab her, and they're like, oh, you're number one. You're going to go first. Man, she jumped without blinking.
Get it, girl.
Now I got to go. And I'm like,
yeah, you got to.
Fuck this. Yeah, I'm an infantryman. I'm 11 Bravo. I'm preparing for war. I've been training to kill motherfuckers. And this woman just put me to shame because she didn't bat an eye. So now I'm number 2, and so fuck it. I guess I got to go. I'm not going to be the guy now to not jump out of this plane. So there I go, jumping out of this fucking plane, you know.
Got over that fear that day.
So 200 feet, though, that's, I don't want to climb
fast.
200 feet. That's crazy.
It's horrible because I'm short. I'm only 5'5", and it's a tall man's game because the towers, unless it's like a Roan 25 tower, which is like a small, well, you'd have it like on your house if you need like an antenna for TV or internet, you know.
Oh, okay.
That's what you have in your house. They're easy to climb. But like these big 300-foot self-supporting towers, from one leg to the other leg is 15 foot.
Oh my
roughly.
God! So I'd be like jumping.
So you have to so like when you're going from leg to leg, to put the bolts in when they're hanging a section, you know, dropping a section in, flying it in with a crane or whatever. You got to get from that leg to the other leg, and you're hooked in, but you're not technically hooked in the whole time. I mean, we definitely did some things when we were climbing that weren't OSHA approved.
Oh my God.
For sure. I mean, they were not.
Nothing's OSHA approved.
Like free climbing.
There's nothing much OSHA approved, and
you can't do anything.
Can't be.
No.
I mean, there's ways to rig up. You can be connected the whole time, but a lot of companies don't do it. We weren't the only one. I mean,
Sure.
I mean, hardly any.
You know, when I worked offshore.
Definitely...
No, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I was just going to say, when I was offshore, you were supposed to only work, like 12 hours at a time? You'd be up 36 hours sometimes, doing a cement job. And they're, nobody's asking you, hey, did you get to go to sleep tonight?
Remember they asked you about your overtime. They're like, did you really have this many overtime?
Oh, my God, I had so much, like 100, like it was 100-something hours.
When me and Jim worked on a rig together, literally, because we were always shorthanded,
I
don't think we worked less than a 16-hour day hardly.
Easy.
I mean, we worked some 12,
yeah.
So we worked a lot of 16-hour days.
Sure.
A lot.
Sure, and probably more at times.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You don't realize it until you're done.
Absolutely, and then you're just ready to pass out. You drink your first beer and just knock out.
Oh, I'm telling you, that was the hardest job I've ever done in my life. It was hard.
Then you got into forging blades.
Oh, yeah,
I like I like forged in fire.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, forged in fire.
It will kill.
So I was working at it will cut. I was working at a tower company, and I'd made a couple knives. I had a buddy working with me. He's a farrier by trade.
Oh,
that's
cool.
fixing horseshoes.
It's
he's
making
a steward. Yeah.
Okay.
And he actually lives in Weatherford. He's back at Weatherford now, doing it full time. But he, of course, he's a farrier, so he plays in the fire a little bit. And he's like, man, I made a knife before, but he did stock removal. He showed it to me. It was nice. But he's like, make me a knife. So I made him a knife. He's like, okay, make me another one. And he kept asking me, make me another one.
Nice.
Make me another one. It was practice,
Yeah.
But they were crap. I mean, they were just horrible. Straight up.
Sure.
He still has the one. He still has one, and it's like, he's like, I'm going to give it back to you one day so you can laugh at it. I said, I know it's bad, dude.
So he has one of your original knives that you ever made.
Dude, he has like the third knife I made.
Holy shit, that's cool.
That's
actually
cool.
like ever made. Yeah.
Hurry up and get that back. That's gonna be worth money someday.
Yeah.
Tell him to give it to me.
Yeah, dude, it's sad.
I want that sad knife.
But we didn't have our good grinder. That's one of the most important tools, man, is a good belt grinder. Yes.
What do you have?
We have a reader. That's the guy that makes it. His last name's Reader. He's out of Dallas. Him and his son. Yeah, I guess his dad's like a engineer and machinist, so they make these grinders.
Nice.
And it's a cat daddy grinder for sure.
Nice.
Of course, we had to buy every attachment possible, so it made it.
Sure. Have toys, we'll play.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's kind of like welding. You're like a professional grinder is what you are.
That's what you start out with, at least.
Yeah, we're about to get a really good welder here soon.
Hey, I saw you had a Hobart 250 in one of your pictures.
No. It's a Hobart.
It's a 140 handler.
140.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's a 110 machine.
So
It's not bad. I mean,
No, because ours did 110 mostly when we were welding over at Jim's. We didn't switch it over to the 220 for a while.
That 140 is a good welder.
I'm about to get Jim has a ESOB Rebel.
Okay.
2.1 something. Has that smart MIG on it. Yeah, that thing's a beast.
Is it?
Yeah, like you could be welding. It don't matter how you're welding. It'll do what you're trying to do. It configures so like you could be clueless.
And just do it.
Your grandma could go in there and try to weld it. It will be perfect.
It's like running a bead of caulk.
Literally, dude, it didn't pop. It didn't pop one time. It didn't throw slag. It was just perfect.
No
the whole
shit.
time.
I'm gonna do something real quick, Ryan.
And it's the size of a suitcase.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Ryan tried to compare this welding to running a bead of caulk, and I will tell you that nobody that I know.
as easy as running a bead of caulk.
Running a bead of caulk is so messy, and no one's good at it. You're not good at it. I'm not good at it.
You just never learned how to
welding
handle the caulk.
easier.
Do you want to know a trick for that?
I just need to use that black caulk on the steps.
Just use if you're running caulking or anything, get a wet sponge after you're done.
No, I've done that. I did it, and you know what? Ask Jim.
Morgan's the worst at handling
I had caulk all over my jeans every day.
Caulk everywhere.
You're gonna get it on you. That's
that caulk is.
I'm the same way.
That caulk is so messy. Every time we use that, those jokes came out.
How can you not go there with caulk?
Oh yeah, that's right off the gate. Yeah.
That's awesome.
We had to use black caulk on our steps. So that day it was Ryan. Ryan was like, Morgan, go handle that.
She got it.
I'm sorry. Anyway, so
don't be sorry.
We were talking about the welding. I wanted to ask you this.
We have the Hobart 210 welder, and that thing is awesome.
250 MVP.
I like
Hobart. It's 210 because it either runs 110 or 220.
Oh, okay, my bad.
That's the machine I need to get. I should have got it first. The 210 makes a big difference.
You know it does. Yeah. But you know what? We did most of our welding on 110. And then
what amperage? Roughly.
Don't get me to lie to you, man.
Old electricity?
50 amps or more, probably?
No. Everything was under 30 amps.
Yeah.
Because we only we ended up only having a 30 amp breaker when we were even using it at 210 or 220. And what was it? The only thing that we actually used the little adapter for to run it closer to, I think it was 30 amps.
It was for the chassis.
Yeah, it was for when we had the 2 channel irons. I just wanted to add a couple welds to it, and it works. There's still no cracked welds on anything that we've done.
And we had that big-ass toolbox back there, and it's still whole.
Now, did you do solid wire, or did you use flux core wire?
Flux.
Oh, you did use flux? Flux core good for a lot of things. I run argon, so I run solid core a lot.
Nice.
I probably should be running flux core, but I just run argon. So
sure.
I remember grabbing that shit up whenever it was on sale at Tractor Supply.
I mean that 110 on 110 mode, it's good for up to a 1/4 inch thick. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty thick.
That's
shit. We did it
thick.
on. It was half inch.
Most people are never going to weld anything a 1/4 inch thick.
No.
People don't understand.
No.
Yeah, people don't understand a 1/4 inch thick piece of steel.
It's really big.
Thick. Yeah.
I didn't realize gauges either. Like
that's what we made our shop table out of.
Oh
the whole
shit!
A 4x8 sheet of 3/8 or 1/4 inch.
Nice.
With 1/4 inch, 2 inch square, a 1/4 inch thick square tubing for the legs.
You can beat anything on that table.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's cool.
That's the first thing I had welded in a long time. I mean, a long time.
That's a good practice.
And we built it upside down, right? So when we went to flip it, I ran a toe strap over this beam we have in our shop.
Yep.
And then I got hooked up to my little tractor and I flipped it with I pulled it,
God.
and then so it kind of flipped it.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know how it was weird how I rigged it up. I told Dad when we go to pull, I said this thing's either going to come completely apart or it's going to work. and it never come apart. So I was like, I guess I did something okay.
You know what, man? I'm such a good welder. I can weld two bubblegum wrappers together.
Oh my God.
Right?
That's the best welding joke I've ever heard.
this cat one time told me I was this guy, and when I was living in San Antonio, I was detailing down there. I was washing his trailer for him. He was a pipeline welder. He said I can weld a snow cone to the sun.
Oh, Jesus Christ,
Oh
that's
my
awesome.
God. That's funny.
I was like, geez. I was like, man, that's definitely oil field mentality right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it
Those
is.
pipeline welders probably could weld a snow cone to the sun, though.
Yeah, they some cocky some bitches, aren't they?
Yes, they
Yeah,
are.
they
But they're
are.
pretty good, and they get paid the big bucks for a reason.
Oh, they're great.
They have to get their welds x-rayed.
So they say is if you have to grind a weld, you ain't doing it right?
That's a fact.
That is
Yeah, that's
so
a fact. But you know
true.
what? If you know anybody listening to this has never welded a day in their life, you're just gonna learn. You're a grinder when you first start welding.
I'm gonna tell
yeah, I still
you.
grind.
I still grind. Absolutely.
I'm gonna tell
Actually,
you.
my ugly ones, I still don't grind sometimes. I just leave them.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Like, oh well.
Fuck it. We'll paint over
Yeah.
that.
I was gonna say I have a bitch story about me and Jim from when we first started
A what
welding.
story?
A bitch story.
Oh,
I was
okay.
I was a bitch. I was being a little bitch. So I had
Just one time?
Okay, the one time I'm gonna admit to.
Okay.
So we were welding the deck on the bus, and
Oh, I
I
remember this.
had grinded so much fucking steel, like prepping, getting ready to
prepped
put
everything.
my welds. I spent a lot of time, and I needed to go get a cutting disc and a couple more tips, I think, for the welding machine, whatever. So I just jumped in the truck and went to Home Depot. Well, I get back. I had spent like 2 hours or 3
longer.
hours, probably more. I don't know.
Yeah.
And fucking Ryan and Jim are back there welding. And I was like, what the fuck? Because they're doing all the fun shit.
Yep.
And I just worked my
Yeah.
ass off. So I get out and I was straight like, what are y'all doing over here? And Ryan was
Why are
like,
you welding on my metal?
Ryan's like, I'm teaching Jim how to weld. And I was like,
Yeah, that's my medal.
I just
Yeah.
I just
Mine.
fucking prepped
Yep.
that. I just did it all day.
I did all the work.
And I just left. I was like,
And here
stomped
comes
off.
Brian and Jim.
Yeah,
After
just-
drinking a bunch of beer. coming in
Yes.
there just like,
That's exactly what happened.
That is
Jim probably
exactly
came out
what
drinking a beer.
happened.
That's a fact. Yeah.
Ryan's like,
Yeah.
hold my beer, watch this.
Yep.
Jim, you can do it too. And then they're like, here, let's just set our beers down and take over Morgan's project that she worked all day on because I'm not an asshole.
We were trying to help you.
But Ryan didn't
Yeah.
know. He didn't know. And then poor Jim was just like, is Morgan mad at me? He's like, she's just upset because you're welding all her stuff. And I remember coming out and I was like, Jim, next time you want to weld,
Yep.
you need to grind all the metal first because that is the number one rule in welding. And then
That's the worst part of welding.
It was.
It is the worst. I've known people that had great paying jobs and they quit because they hated grinding.
Fuck
That
yeah.
much.
I mean, just
I
to
didn't
prep
mind
metal,
it.
prep metal
It was
before.
just-
Because, see, here's the
a
thing. A lot of people
pain.
people don't realize you could be the best welder in the world.
Yeah.
But if you suck at prep, you
It's gonna
instantly
look like
become
shit.
the worst welder in the world.
Yeah, that's true.
That's anything.
Yeah.
That's anything.
Oh, painting.
You gotta do the steps.
That's why I don't
Get
paint.
The steps. That's right. Painting, especially painting a car. Painting a car. I mean, Logan knows. He
Yeah.
tell you got to pray. It's all about that.
My
Oh, Logey Bear.
girlfriend's
I miss that
dad
guy.
used to paint cars, and me and my friend would
They
have
were
to
just
go
out here
sand.
this past weekend for a car show.
Oh,
I didn't get
sweet.
to go see them. I was too busy. But they were in a town over here by me called Lone Oak at a car show where you can't. It's a camping car show.
Uh-huh.
So you get to camp, and then you get, it's called Turkey Drag.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like Black Friday car show. We got to camp out.
Yeah. Yeah, they camped
So
out, man. And
good.
him and Ryan had all the, the rhinos there, the white rhino. And,
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Did-
I think it's that. I think that his Logan's old truck, that Toyota,
The purple
Ram
one?
Toyota. It's gray. I think it's gray, and they painted it gray.
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
And then he had that other black bus out there, the lifted one.
No, did he finish it? Is it done?
I looked done, yeah.
Oh my God, I totally forgot he was even doing that. That was like 2 years ago.
And that white rhino. Have you seen the white rhino?
I don't think so.
Nah.
That thing is insane.
Nice.
I mean, it is out of control.
What
You gotta
is-
go on his Instagram, the FABLABS.
Okay.
Look it up.
Lab.
Dude, that thing, you'll be like, oh my God. It'll make you want to buy one.
I'm gonna go in there right now while you're talking.
Make you want to spend a lot of money and buy one.
It makes you want to spend a lot of money.
Because they are a lot of money.
Oh,
They ain't
shit.
cheap. He put a lot of work into that.
Jeez.
Nice.
That's crazy.
So, anyways, man, so you got started. You were making some shitty knives because some farrier was wanting you to make him some knives.
Yeah, he was just testing me out. You know, he was trying to, you know, see what I had.
Okay.
And actually, my very first one, I didn't give to him. I gave to a buddy that lives in Lubbock.
Okay.
And it wasn't that bad, man. Actually, I would like to get that knife back one day if he'll ever part ways with it.
Who is that, Hunter?
No, not Hunter. It's his brother.
Okay.
It's one of his stepbrothers.
Okay.
Or half brothers, I guess. And it's actually a pretty nice knife. It's like more like a pocket knife size, so the blade's probably just at 2 inches.
Okay.
Maybe 2 1/4, but the handle's horrible. The handle shaping. The handle material is great. It's blue aluminite, but the handle shaping was horrible. I was bad at shaping handles then.
Okay.
And the dude, I mirror polished it, and it was sharp. And I made it out of a coil spring, so I took a piece of coil spring and stretched it out. You know, opened it up.
Yeah.
And that's what I practiced with. That was, you know, I did that for a while. I practiced on, you know, shitty metal, you know, reclaimed metal and stuff before I actually went and bought good steel.
That's
good knife
cool.
steel.
That's what I always told Ryan we should do is just hold on to steel and just like do it.
Yeah, especially files. You know, a lot of people make file knives, and there's actually not a lot of files that are good for knives. Everybody thinks you can just use a file for a knife. Even if you spark test it, it might be borderline
Okay.
high enough carbon content to hold a good edge. But man, they just rust so bad. I mean, in the knives, you know, I make a really high carbon, but it seems like, you know, if they're Damascus, between etching protects them, and then, you know, the stuff I put on them, I put wax on them, and I put that new Aegis solution I just bought, and we put that on there, and I don't know, but every file knife I've ever had, I've had problems with corrosion on them, really bad.
So file knives are not something you try, or you use for like a final knife? Yeah,
and the only file I would make a knife out of is a Nichols file. You probably heard of Nichols. They're a pretty good brand.
Yeah, I use them all the time.
Usually their files are pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I was making crappy knives or subpar knives, I guess. And then I had left that job and went and detailed for a little while. And then I worked for True Green.
Oh.
So I started working for True Green in Tyler, you know, lawn maintenance or whatever.
Yeah, I know.
Uh-huh.
And that wasn't a bad job. And I was starting to make a little more knives on the weekends. That job, I worked 60 hours there.
Ooh.
You know, hour drive each way. I didn't get nothing done hardly during the week. So I started making a little more knives there. And then it got to the point where I was working I was working 7 days or 6 days a week there and making, you know, I wasn't making nothing. I was making like, after, you know, you get insurance out, your child support out, you get all this stuff out, you're making like $400 or $500. And you're working 70 hours. You're like, what is going on, you know?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I left there, and I actually got really busy detailing, because I still have my detailing business, too.
Nice.
I still do that. And in the spring and summer, that's pretty busy. Mainly in the spring, it's really busy.
What's the detailing business? Tell us about that.
It's called Lonestar Mabile Wash.
Okay.
I started it in San Antonio. I guess it's been 3 years now. Me and my father-in-law started it. My wife's dad helped me start it up.
Very nice.
You know, we lived in an RV for 2 years.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
We lived in a bumper pool, a 32-foot bumper pool for 2 years. And after we left Big Spring, we moved to San Antonio, and we got that trailer. And her parents had been doing it for 4 or 5 years. They lived in Albuquerque for a while.
Oh, wow.
And then they had moved to San Antonio, and that's when we went down there to see them. And we ended up moving down there. You know, the oil field was when I left there, man, it was like, I think oil was like $30 a barrel. It was bad. And, you know, it was really low. Then it came back up a little bit and went back down. And, yeah, we lived in that trailer, and I was doing some electrical jobs, you know, because that's what I used to do in the oil field at the end was electrical under, you know, the great Kevin Bell taught me everything I know about electrical. So.
Kevin motherfucking Bell. I didn't know you worked for Kevin.
I was his apprentice for, me and him were tight, man. Me and him were good buddies.
So the very first time I ever met Kevin Bell, man, we hit it off. Great, great dude.
Yeah.
So I give him my phone. I was like, hey, throw your name or throw your number in my phone. So when I get my phone back, it was like, no. It was like a week later. He calls me up, and I didn't know what he put in it. And it just shows up, Kevin motherfucking Bell. That's what he put in.
You met him at the bar, didn't you?
No, I met him
No, you didn't?
at a
It
person's.
was at Jim's house.
It was at somebody's house. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, because I met him at the bar.
Well, that was another
That's
place to look.
I mean, you don't go to the bar to meet dudes, but like I used to network at the bar. That's back when I was separated. You know, my ex-wife. We weren't
Sure.
divorced yet. We were separated.
Uh-huh.
She was already back. She was already back in Pennsylvania when I used to go to the bar. I was a bar rat. I ain't gonna lie. I used to go to the bar every single day.
Over there in Big
7
Spring?
days a week. I mean, I wish I would have been there. Yeah, in Big Spring. I lived there I moved right before you guys got there.
No,
Oh man,
are
that
you
might have been a
serious?
good thing though.
I moved. I moved in 2015.
Oh shit, we got
I
there.
moved in.
End of
I moved
end of
in. Let me
2015.
think. Man, it was like March of
Okay.
2015, I think, or February.
We were up there in August, September.
Yeah. Jeez, you did just leave.
And I used to go to the bar.
Which
every
one?
day.
What was that one
Yeah.
near Jim's house?
Okay, that's Crossroads.
Crossroads,
I would go
that's
there-
what it is.
I would go. Here's how it goes in Big Spring. It's still like this. Either one bar, it's going on at one bar, Sugars, or it's still
Yeah,
going on
Sugars.
at Crossroads.
That's a
and
fact.
It alternates weekends.
Yep.
That's so
Yep.
true.
These people are probably like, what are these places? But that's the two bars in Big Spring that are worth the shit.
And they're good bars.
They
Yeah.
are good bars.
Yeah. And I'm talking about the old Sugars. I don't know about the new one. I've never been there.
Oh, I don't know.
I guess she opened a new one up. So
Really?
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
this
that
was-
lady.
yeah,
Huh.
yeah. She opened a new one up, and a whole different location. But this was it was the old location, and the crowd that was in there. I could go in there, man, and I felt literally like I was around a bunch of family. And
Sure.
that's
Yeah.
weird. And I know there's random people in there, but like I could go in there and they like me, man. I spent a bunch of money.
They
in there,
had
tile money.
regulars. Yeah, I was gonna say there
Oh,
were
yeah,
quite
I
a
was a
few
regular.
regulars.
And I'm telling you, ask Jim. She used to get on to me about it a little bit. He'd drive by there, and my truck would be there every day. I get off work, and my truck would be there
Sure.
until close. I'm talking, I shut it down. It was bad.
He said
was
shut it
bad.
down.
Well, that's an
was.
expensive bar to have.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie. It wasn't a problem, but it was like that was my hobby.
Yeah.
Or was it the solution?
It was not.
You didn't have a problem. You found the solution. It's like a flask.
Well, look, I didn't have nothing to do. I had money to spend,
Yeah.
so I spent it.
Yep. No,
Absolutely.
that happens. That totally happens.
I mean, that's where you network at. That's where oil field cats.
Absolutely.
I was gonna
That's a
say
fact.
that's like a typical oil field
Yep.
worker
So
just
that's
going
where
to the bar.
that's where I met Kevin Bell at. It was a busy Friday night.
Mm.
He was in there, and I was actually running equipment. I was working for Price Construction at the time, running equipment, building oil field location pads,
Okay.
drilling pads. And he's like, man, I was telling us, he's talking about work and stuff, and he's like, well, I need an apprentice, so if you ever want a better paying job, and I called him, and he'd come by on it was like the next Friday. He'd come by my house, and of course, I was getting ready to go drink, so we went to Midland that night and drank. I think
Midland?
we went to Rock and Rodeo. over in
Nice.
Midland.
Nice. Yep.
Yeah. So that's where you go to chase women. There's more women over there than in Big Spring, obviously. So.
Yeah.
I
of
didn't tell my
course.
wife about that.
Shut up.
Well,
I
you
know
don't have to go there
everything.
for that, but it's definitely an option. But I think that by the next Wednesday, I was hired on and working for him.
Oh, nice.
For the company he worked for.
Yeah. I did not know you
Make
knew
it-
Kevin Bell.
Oh yeah, he taught me everything I know about electrical.
He taught me everything I know about
Yeah.
electrical, believe it or not.
And he knows a lot, man. And
Yeah, he does.
there might be some people that don't like him or whatever. It's because he speaks his mind, and he ain't gonna. If he called dudes out and they didn't know shit and they thought they did, and he called them out and they got butthurt over it. you know?
Sure.
Man, our
So-
shit looks nice and clean in that utility
We've never had
closet.
any issues
He
with our
definitely
electrical.
showed us how to do everything.
So
Solar.
he was
Yeah.
your advisor on it. More or
Yeah.
less?
Yeah, he was.
He was more than the advisor. I mean, he got in here, got his hands dirty. He came in here and
Oh, yeah,
showed
it
us
worked.
how to
It
do
worked.
this, built his diagrams or drew out diagrams.
Yeah, he worked with
He was
me
the-
a lot
he was
on
the
solar.
best boss I've ever had. Period.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
could see that.
Like, not working for myself. I mean, it was great.
Yeah, I could see that.
And well, you just
I
said
remember.
I was gonna say you
remember
just
we
said
used to-
that you were you said you were working for yourself. So like when you were working over at True Green, you were you just like you finally were making enough money like making knives that you were able to quit and like just keep doing your detailing?
No,
or?
because like the wash. That's before I was really like trying to sell them. The
Okay.
wash deal is what made me. I have to always have the wash deal to fall back on. So
Right, that's
I-
awesome.
I'd quit the True Green, and they were upset about it because they really liked me there.
Because they're working you like a dog.
They worked me like a dog, and I wanted to work like a dog. Cause
Sure.
I don't care what anybody says. The oil field is, you will never work harder in your life if you work in the oil field.
Oh, for sure.
Or maybe unless you're like a miner or something like that. But,
or a soldier.
Or an infantryman.
So I'd work all the hours they wanted, and they gave me a brand new truck, and like I was only there for like 2 months.
Wow.
Oh,
There was
man.
dudes there for 3. There was dudes there for 3 years, and they had the junkiest truck. Yeah.
So they didn't
Dude,
like
that
you
pissed
coming
people
in
off.
here all new.
Oh, they didn't like me at all. But oh well.
Hey, Chase, you want to hear something
Well,
real quick?
Yeah.
Listen to this. That's your bottle opener, by the way. I just opened a beer.
Oh,
It's your
yeah.
bottle opener.
I heard it sounded like a squeak. I was like, "What is that?" Yeah.
Maybe it came out better on the
Like-
podcast
Like,
audio.
is that like a is that a gerbil? Like, what is that?
Hey, guess what? We're playing games of gerbils now. Gerbil games.
No, I was just using your new bottle opener you sent me.
Did you get new ferrets or what?
Oh, Jesus. Sorry, go ahead with your story, though.
And so I was working there doing all that, and then I parted ways. They were upset about it. And then they called me for like 2 weeks straight. Every day my boss would call me once a day.
Oh, jeez.
And this time I told him I left. And like I just wanted an answer because I was washing and detailing, and like I had
Right.
nothing to say to him. So like,
Right.
I just didn't answer. And then my other buddy that worked there at the time, he finally, that I had met through working there, he finally told me, he's like, "Look, man, he's not coming back, dude."
He's
You
done.
know? And I actually had this last spring, I had a great spring washing. I was averaging
Good.
like $800 to $1,600 a week.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell. Do you
Yeah.
go to RV parks, or do they, like, RVers come to you?
I go to RV parks, and there's a bunch around Lake Fork because I'm close to Lake Fork,
Oh, yeah.
which is all fishing. It's like one of the best bass lakes in the country.
Oh,
for
yeah.
largemouth. And I do a bunch of them, and there's some parks in Terrell I go to. There's a couple in Tyler, but they're mainly around the lake. And then I do a bunch of cars, and I do a bunch of boats typically.
Oh, yeah, boats. I forgot. Yeah, people don't
Yeah,
like to
so-
take care of their boats. That's a lot of work.
Well, especially pontoons. Pontoon owners are some trashy son of a gun. No offense to none of y'all.
Oh, my
none
God,
offense to
really?
none
Are
of
they trashy or do they just like to fucking party?
It's actually not even the partier ones. It's the people that fish off of them. They'll fish off them all season, and they'll park them under the trees. And they'll let the dirt divers get in there, and the pine needles, and the
fish
I'll
guts
get
and
it.
everything.
You could go into a pontoon and just walk through, and not open any compartments. Just walk in, like, "Oh, this ain't bad. I'll charge this." And you start getting into it, and you're
Oh.
like, "What is going on?"
So do you now look inside the cabinets when you quote
I
somebody?
look at everything.
Let's clean it up, pontoon bone owners. Let's get it.
Dude,
Let's
I
get it
got
going.
into
Let's get it
one.
together.
I got into one, and I was like, "Oh man, this won't take long." Just to get it to the point where I could really start detailing it, it took me an hour and a half.
Damn, so that dude's like, I got a
Just to
fucking
get
deal.
all the wasp nests and the mud and the sand and
Oh,
all the stuff.
so
that
you're
goes
saying
in
you
there. You have to
do
get.
a really good
Yeah.
job.
I
Sounds
try
like
to
you
do a good. I try to do a good job,
That's awesome.
but yeah. So I had that to fall back on, and that's what I was doing. And then it'll start slowing down in the summer. Well, that's when I started doing the knives hard. I made a couple nicer knives. I got better at my forging techniques, and I'm not no master forger. There's a lot of guys out there that can forge a knife in 100% to shape, thickness, everything, and all they got to do is like touch it up on the grinder a little bit. I'm nowhere that level, but some of them guys have been doing it a long time.
Sure.
But I got better at my forging. I got better. Just there's little things on a knife, aspects of it that some people do very well and some people do okay.
Sure.
And it just makes a knife look like a knife, not like it's homemade. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it looking homemade because it is homemade. But I'm talking homemade, and you know what you're doing.
Sure.
Mm.
Sure.
I'm talking about plunge lines, how you set your plunge lines, how even they are, if they're deep enough, if your grinds are right. I do full flat grinds with convex edge. The same as Jay Nielsen. That's who I kind of take. I follow Jay Nielsen a lot.
Jay Nielsen?
Jay Nielsen is a great, amazing knife maker. Obviously, he's a judge on the show, and that's the one reason I kind of followed him because I was like, well, I'm going to check this stuff out. So when I was watching the show, I saw what he made, and I like what he makes. He makes a lot of hunting knives, and they're I mean, they're some of the toughest knives in the world. Period. I mean,
Wow.
if you bust one of his knives, you ain't gonna bust one of his knives. It's not gonna happen.
Wow.
Yeah, he is. But he's been doing it 30 years, so he has all the tricks
Sure.
down.
Absolutely. He's made all the mistakes and problem solved his way to success.
He said on the interview with him on the Knife Talk podcast, he said, they didn't have YouTube, they didn't have all this material you could reference when he started.
Uh-huh.
He said it was about 10 years of me beating my head against the wall constantly.
Ooh.
Making knives. He said, and I just never gave up. I'd go to a knife show and I'd go to the best knife maker there, and I'd throw my stuff on his table and say, what do I need to work on? And they would tell him. Yeah. And you got to be ready for criticism.
Sure.
It's hard for everybody to take criticism. I don't care who you are. It's hard for everybody. You might say you don't mind it. Everybody hates criticism because some people, you put your heart into it, so.
Absolutely.
But you have to take it. You have to take it.
Sure.
Otherwise.
But it only makes you better.
Yeah, it does.
Exactly. Well, yeah, and people being honest is good, so.
Yeah.
How if you give somebody something like, oh, it's great, and they freaking hate it? Well, what the hell? How are you supposed to know?
Sure, absolutely.
Prime examples, American Idol. All those poor people that are like, oh, you can sing, baby. Just go let Simon judge you. And then they're like crying because they can't sing. No one was honest.
I'm sorry if I didn't hear that. Morgan cuts out sometimes when she's talking. I don't know why.
Oh, that's weird. Can you hear me
now?
Ryan,
I can hear you now. Like Ryan doesn't, but sometimes
I do.
Yeah, I don't know why.
No worries.
My phone or probably
it might be my mic.
This $1,000 iPhone, if we get. So.
It's goddamn Chinese products.
Oh my God.
Yeah, right? Samsung and Apple taking over the world.
I'm telling you, man.
Really?
It sucks that you can't even get into Samsung stock. You have to go. Nope, not in America.
You can't?
Not in America. No, sir.
What?
Oh, I see.
In the Japanese market or what?
Now, what about Apple? What's Apple cost to buy in a share?
It's like one.
Oh man, you know what?
It's
I was
expensive.
just looking at it the other day, but I think Samsung's Korean,
Oh.
right? I don't know. I don't remember.
Kiyosaki.
But Apple shares, they went down pretty good today. Apple's at $176.50 a share right now. So.
What were they before? 180.
Wow, that's $176 a share.
Yeah, 176.
That's expensive, I think. But look at the work.
It's actually a buy right now, but I think it is about to go a lot lower. So just like everything.
Yeah.
Man, I know if I was going to invest in something, I want to buy $176 shares. I know that.
Yeah, I stick to the lower ones.
I'm most likely not going to have a lot of money to put into it.
Apple
like
within
that.
the year was $232.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That
is a big drop.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
that's crazy.
That is crazy. That's insane.
So
it's gone down a lot. So that was actually the high for the last 5 years, as a matter of fact. So
the 232.
Yes, sir. And so it being 176.50 right now, basically is a steal of a deal. But I think it has a lot more to drop. I made. It's funny. This is either an omen that I'm gonna have a bad day Thursday because tomorrow the stock market's closed, or this is my new lucky number. But I made.
So what's the deal with that? I know I've never heard of the stock market closing because of a president dying. I've never heard of that.
I'm not very happy about
that.
that.
Is that normal?
I honestly don't
That's
know.
not normal, right?
But you know what? I don't give a shit. You're your president. Good job. Who gives a shit?
Doesn't mean
you know how many
can't
soldiers
make
die?
money.
We're not shutting down the stock market every time a soldier dies.
Exactly.
You know what? If we started shutting down the stock market every time a soldier died, we would stop these bullshit wars. Yeah, because it would never be open.
It'd never be open. Nope.
So I don't.
The mail's also not running either.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yep. Every federal worker's off.
We might be busy tomorrow.
They just want a reason to take off, dude. I hate to say it, but y'all some lazy son bitches. Yeah.
You know what? Didn't Trump just say that he was going to cut, or he wasn't going to give them a pay raise?
Oh, hell yes, please. Yeah. They don't deserve no fucking pay raise.
But he is he not giving veterans that get disability? Didn't he give them a bump?
Yes. Yeah, he actually did.
That went through, right?
He gave 3%, but it's like, isn't inflation like 6%?
I don't know.
So we're still like 3% under inflation. I'm
more
not saying it's not a good thing.
It was more than Obama.
These people give these presidents too much, leeway because everyone got excited when Bush, raised the what was it, soldiers' pay back in 2003, 2000,
Yeah.
no,
It was
2005.
like 1 point something.
And it was, he gave us a 3% bump, but inflation was 6%. So we were still 3% below the poverty line, It's like, come on, if
We're
you want
still
to
eating
really make a
spaghetti.
difference in some of these soldiers'
Bump
lives,
it up.
yeah, bump
Yeah.
this shit up because these guys and girls deserve, and women deserve so much more than what we're getting paid. You have these congressmen and these congresswomen making money for life, and they're hot garbage.
They're making money
And
off of book deals.
And ridiculous money.
Everything.
Oh, ridiculous.
It
They
ain't
get
like-
insider trading.
It ain't like they're making 20 grand a year, 40 grand, 50 grand a year. I'm telling you right now, a retired person can live okay off of 50, 60 grand a year.
Sure.
If you're
Hell
not
yeah.
if you're not being spoiled.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
if you're not being exuberant, absolutely.
outside your
Yeah,
means.
if you're not living above your means and trying to live like, top dog still,
Dude, we were making
So-
25 grand with him as a sergeant
Yeah.
with a baby. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
And that was combat pay.
That was combat pay.
I'm
That
not-
was an extra $100 a month.
Whoop.
on some of my bad years, I've made 15 grand,
Yeah.
Sure.
and we got through. I
Yeah.
don't know
Sure.
how, but we freaking got through.
Yeah.
You make it work.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
And you have
You
to.
problem
There's always
solve
a
your
way.
way out of that.
You definitely don't have a lot of money on hand at some times.
Sure.
Sure.
But that's a lot of people,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, people, like my buddy the other day, this guy I know, not really a buddy, a person I know, and I used to live in Pennsylvania. He's like, you can't get by on a minimum wage job. I said, dude, that's what a minimum wage job is for. It's for a person
Yeah.
to start out in the workforce.
Absolutely.
I said, if you've been working, you're same age as me. If you've been working that long and you're still in a minimum wage job, you need to reevaluate what you're doing, brother.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry,
That's
but
true.
Evaluate your life decisions.
I will
I
say,
mean,
though,
come-
I took a minimum wage job as a bud tender up in Washington, and I have like half a master's degree. But I just wanted to learn about the industry. Like, I was literally,
Oh, yeah.
to me, the
that
education
wasn't
was
work.
more important. And I got free weed and
Yeah.
a lot of tips. And I didn't have to work,
Yeah, well,
though. That made that
Yeah,
job
you
easy.
didn't have to. Yeah, you did it because you
Yeah,
wanted to.
because I
He-
wanted
he's
to,
sitting there
yeah.
He's sitting there complaining, and he can't, afford rent. He can't
Oh,
afford this
shit.
and that. And I'm like, dude,
I get tired of hearing
No.
people complain about what they can't afford, because a lot of shit I could look
I told him, I
look in
said-
their house and see what they have, and they
I
really
said, go
don't need
into
it.
the best job in the whole county. Go to the best job. And around there, it's manufacturing and stuff like that. So I know he can get a job there. Go in there and say, I am not leaving here until you hire me, and this is why.
Persistence.
But you got to lead it up. You can't just say that and stop because they're going to think you're nuts. You got to say, this is why.
Absolutely,
and
you got
this
to
is why I
sell
deserve it.
yourself. Yeah.
And this is what I'll do for you, and this is why you need me, and this is why you should want me here.
Right.
And typically, they're not going to call the law on you.
Every
You know,
persistent person, when they hear a no, they're really hearing, so this is a possible maybe.
That's right.
If you're persistent enough,
Like the
when you
pursuit
hear
of
no, you
happiness.
hear, wait a minute, you want to say yes. You see?
Yeah,
Because you're persistent.
that's true. Will
You're
Smith
hungry.
did it.
Who?
Will Smith on that movie, The Pursuit of Happiness, about that guy. He
Well,
never-
Eric Gardner did
Eric
that.
Gardner,
Will
that's
Smith
it.
didn't do that. He pretended to do that.
That's who I meant.
Yeah.
Are you talking about, is that the Pursuit of Happiness movie?
Yeah.
Is that the
Absolutely.
movie you're talking- Yeah.
Phenomenal movie.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
never
it's a
took
good movie,
no.
yeah.
He just kept on.
Seriously, just kept on.
I remember working at University of Phoenix, and they'd be like, "Yeah, he just dialed that phone really fast," and I'm like, "Motherfucker, I'm not dialing the phone that fast.
I'm not living in a
what-
bathroom right
I'm
now.
not living in the."
What did you do for them when you were working there?
Sold degrees.
I sold degrees to people. Well, so
Okay.
we'd get calls. I worked on the military team because I knew the lingo is really what it was. But yeah, I basically would answer like people's questions about degrees and find out what they wanted to do, and then found a degree that fit them. And kind of like here's the thing. Okay, I am a University of Phoenix graduate. And it wasn't an easy thing. It was hard, doing math online fucking sucks. But I believed in that degree. I actually won a competition called I Am a Phoenix competition before I started working there. Yeah, I had to I submitted this video on MySpace. That's how long ago this was. And it was basically like, what did Phoenix do for me? Well, I started it when Ryan was deployed because I needed to do something for myself. I was really bored and always wanted to go to college. My dad and mom really pushed me to go to college. So I went and did that. And, I don't know. It was really great for me to like give me direction and give me a purpose. And it got me into some pretty good positions because of it, and I just didn't know how else to educate myself other than go to school, because that's kind of what I've always done. So, but anyway,
that's what most people do anyway.
Yeah. So, and I believed in it. I believed in getting my degree and I'll get a better job, and I did. Although I got hired, for like at University of Phoenix with the University of Phoenix degree, it's like really hard for me to sell. It was hard for me to be like, oh, of course they're gonna hire me. I graduated from here, but I was really good at it.
Don't always work like that.
Yeah. I mean, I was good at it though. Like I really believed in it, and I believed wholeheartedly. I was all into that corporate life, and getting prizes for how many people you get through registration. And
wasn't at the end they were giving you guys like pet rocks?
Yeah.
Like trophies.
So
or
they
something?
had this like huge layoff. It was right before I got fired, and right after. We had to realign the company, and everybody was all excited about it. And we're gonna do all these new corporate things, and we're gonna do new conversations because somebody got caught.
Right, but
selling.
Instead of bonuses, you were getting pet rocks.
Yeah, so we would get bonuses every 6 months, and all of a sudden, we got in trouble because we're making money for how many students we're putting into college. And the problem with that is you can't have all of your funding come from the federal government, student loans and Pell Grants, and like 90% of our shit we were like totally all off the government. It was crazy.
Right.
So
corporate welfare people.
Yeah. So then we had to change our conversations, and they had to retrain us, and they made it fun, and then they started giving out rocks because we were rock stars.
That's right. That's what it said. Rock stars. I remember she
I'm
brought
sorry,
one home.
We can't give you that $3,000 bonus a year.
I need that. That's
yeah.
what you need to give me. I don't want no rocks. I don't want no stars. I don't want none of that.
No, we wanted rocks.
Cash money.
Exactly.
I want small trash money.
I had kind of fallen out after the fire out of that company too. They basically didn't give me any time off. I took all my vacation and
I want my money in a garbage sack.
In a garbage sack.
Man,
throw it at my feet, and I'm going to walk out of here. On the day you give it to me, I'm going to go use it.
I'm going to tell you how hardcore I was for that company. I was putting fucking garbage in my husband's red Charger to take it to the recycling company because I was recycling all the company's cans on my lunch break. And I wasn't getting paid extra for it.
They never asked you to do that?
No, they never did. I was a part of the green movement at work, trying to make a better plan.
So you're saving them money. You're helping them.
Yeah. I didn't even get money for the cans. I just dropped them off. My fucking trunk stunk like fucking.
You did that Charger. I do remember that car.
That red Charger.
Yep.
Yeah, we
sold
them.
I like them. Good cars.
It was awesome.
I'm a Mopar guy. I got a Dodge. I like Mopar. So.
Sure.
Oh.
Well, now I got a 7.3
Yeah,
Ford.
Well,
I love that 7.3.
If you're gonna switch, that's what you switch to.
You switch to a diesel. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You gotta
I want one so bad. I gotta have justification to have one, but I really want one so bad.
Just sell a vehicle and get a 7.3. It'll last you a lifetime, literally.
But it's not a good grocery getter.
I don't care about that. I want a 7.3.
Depends on the kind of groceries you get.
I want a 4-door long bed.
That's what we have.
4-wheel drive. 7.3.
That's what I got.
95, 96. That's what I want.
99. No, we're 02.
02.
02. I want an old square body. That's what. And they're hard to get. Everybody wants them. I'm gonna find me one day. I'm gonna get one.
Yeah, you will. That unicorn.
Yep.
You'll find it.
Oh yeah. And I'm gonna take it to Ryon and Logan and have them park over that sign.
Yeah, dude.
At FABLABS.
Oh yeah. Spend a bunch of money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I saw a picture of that white Rhino. That was awesome.
Isn't it insane? That thing is
out of
control.
Yeah, Morgan showed me pictures of that when you were talking about it earlier. That thing is
so
sweet.
Oh my gosh, dude. I don't know where he comes up with some of this stuff. It's crazy.
I love that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and Logan's great at that stuff. They're both. I don't know Ryon personally, but I know Logan, and Logan's really good at that.
Logan was a huge part of our bus build. Like Ryan was wanting to put the deck out like 6 feet.
The slippery walrus.
He was teaching us. Oh yeah, he taught us how to tie the truck down whenever we were hauling it behind the bus, and yeah, he would get under there and He'd be wallering around underneath the truck and the ties, and he's like, I'm slippery like a walrus.
Logan
Oh,
was
yeah.
the
He would say that too.
Logey
That's
Bear.
definitely Logan.
yeah,
Logey
but Logan
Bear.
was the person that actually taught me never do anything for free, nothing. And so
That's
when we
true.
were doing this bus, I would ask him, hey, how do I do this? He would never actually do the work, but he would draw little doodles on the side of the bus.
Yeah, we had a lot of those.
And so we had like Logan schematics
Yeah.
all in black
Diagrams.
Sharpie on the side of the bus before we painted it. And that's how we learned how to weld,
Yep.
the brackets to hold up the basements, the
That's
boxes
right.
on the
He
bottom.
gave us that design.
He would
Right.
always just draw, little drunken
Tidbits.
doodles as he's drinking his Coors Original. And, so the next day after we just had some, drunken beer fest, we'd wake up the next morning. All right, what are we supposed to do? Oh, yeah, Logan drew us
told
some
us
doodles.
this.
So we would go over there and
We-
start doing whatever
Yeah,
it is that he drew on the
we ate
side
that
of the bus.
shit up.
Yeah.
That was like
you
our
can't make that up.
hieroglyph.
That's awesome.
Dude, that was like hieroglyphics
Well, that's how
for
we
our
paid
religion.
Logan.
Yeah.
Logan didn't work for free. We
No.
paid Logan and Coors,
In our-
banquet.
in our friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would call him over and said, hey, you want to have a banquet? And so I
That's
would buy a
right.
30-pack, and we would start drinking some banquet. I'd get him nice and drunk, and then all of a sudden, he just became Picasso on the side of my bus, and he would start drawing little shitty doodles. And the next morning, I'd wake up and say, okay, this is what we're doing for the day,
Yep.
copying these shitty doodles.
He was building his bus when we were building ours, and he actually gave me the idea too to keep all of my drains on the same side of the bus.
That's a fact. I forgot about
I
that.
just
That was
remembered
his
that.
idea. Yep.
And I remember thinking, like, damn, I'm so glad we did that. And that just occurred to me that he gave me that idea.
I'll tell you what,
I
West
like
Texas was good to us. I don't know if I would want to. If you want to build a bus, a schoolie,
Oh.
you should go to West Texas and, like Chase said,
Hang out
go
at
to
the
the
bar.
bars, start telling your fucking plans, and you're going to meet the Kevin Bells and the Logans of the world
Yes, you
because
are.
these people
Yeah.
love to work hard, and you have welders, plumbers,
Joe
electrical.
McCormick.
Yeah, Joe
Electrician.
McCormick.
I don't think he's plumbing
Yeah.
anymore.
Rednecks.
Yes.
MacGyvers.
MacGyvers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, every time like a fucking pizza guy would drop a pizza off, he'd be like, I'm a builder, I'm a
Yeah,
carpenter,
he was a contractor.
I'm this.
I'm out of work right
Yeah.
now, but man, I would do this exact same way. You guys are doing a great job. Sweet. Works for me.
And I'm sure you guys ate a lot of pizza because I know Jim. He likes
Yeah,
pizza.
we did. I mean, I
And-
didn't
and
cook.
A lot
we
of
ate
drunken pizza nights. You know?
No, you know what we had drunken nights of? We would come back from Sugars
Stupid
or
Ascana.
Crossroads.
Oh.
You know where the McDonald's is over there in Big Spring.
Oh, it's right there.
And
Yeah.
we would have Fourth Mill.
Oh my God, we ate so much McDonald's.
Yeah, we did. But you know what?
Yeah.
We would sit at that
so
table.
bad.
We would sit at.
Hey, how
Jim's
long is
table.
Jim's table? We had it on the podcast. We thought it was like 10 feet long.
I just sat at it at Thanksgiving, and I'm pretty sure it's a minimum of 10.
See? Yeah, that thing is
Okay.
fucking a king's
It
fucking
is
table.
big.
Beautiful.
It is
Because-
a beautiful table.
Because mine is 10 foot, and his might even be a little bit bigger than mine.
Oh shit.
I built my table.
Nice.
I'm handy like that.
See,
So,
I would too.
and it's not near as nice as Jim's, but I'm not a furniture maker, but it's pretty nice. It's
But
like
you
farmhouse
built
style.
it.
Sure.
Yeah, I saved I think I built that table for $270,
Fuck
Please.
yeah.
and they're going for like $1,100.
I believe
to buy
it.
one.
Whew.
I
Yeah,
always
his
wanted
table's
to
10 foot, at least 10 foot long.
Oh, it's a beautiful table, too. The chairs, the
is.
It is
table,
great.
everything.
feel like a king.
I love that table. That is like the coolest table I've ever sat at. I'm not going to lie.
I like it too. It's nice.
So,
Yeah.
okay, I've been wanting to ask you this because I was thinking of Forged in Fire. And I remember there was this episode where this guy was really creepy and he lost.
Oh, yes.
And he was like, it was like the exit interview. What did he say?
He said, I'm going to drink gin and tonics till the bad man in my head goes away.
And he started crying.
What?
Yeah.
That is the best exit interview from Forged in Fire. I'll never forget
I'm
it.
gonna drink it till all the bad men in my head go
Was,
away.
it recently?
No,
I
it
don't
was years
know.
ago, and I remember
This was
we
back
were
in
at Jim's
2015. Yeah, we were at Jim's
house.
house.
And I remember like, what did
Oh.
this really fucking happen? And it was really creepy.
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back in the seasons and watch and find this episode just to see.
Oh,
this
yeah.
guy.
No, it was creepy
It
whenever
was
he said that
creepy.
because we were like, holy shit. That's the person that needs
because
his
it-
weapons taken away. That guy.
Yeah, because it sucks that people don't remember the losers, but people don't remember the losers. So I don't remember this guy. You know, I remember the winners.
Oh,
I only
that's-
remember him because of what he
'Cause he was
said
so
because that was
creepy.
creepy as.
Hey, is he as creepy as the dude I tagged you in on that post?
Dude, that dude's
That he was
weird.
talking.
Okay,
You know what I'm talking about?
I replied to it. Remember that dude, okay, with the fucking black cowboy hat, and
Oh,
he
yeah.
was talking all
The
weird
hole in the
with the hole in the ground.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah,
That was
yeah.
weird.
So supposedly, so I
We
actually
looked
went and
into
looked
this,
into
yeah.
this. Yeah, and so I guess he's a I don't know lead singer or he's in a crazy band. I don't know, but I don't know if that
doing
person.
his lyrics.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
know
gonna
if
get
this
it.
guy, I don't
need
know
to
if
get the
this guy
video
was
so they can
you know,
hear.
being serious, like that's how he really is, or he was just
Dude.
fucking around with the local TV
I'm
station
pulling
and
it
trolling him. So
I hope he's messing around because that dude was out there.
yeah, you
for a
take
minute.
his guns too, you know,
Take all these motherfucking
Yeah,
crazy.
you don't even let him have a paper clip.
bro.
I mean,
Don't even give him a fucking stapler. Yeah, take
Yeah.
his fucking stapler from him.
God.
Yeah,
I'm trying to find it.
dude.
He was talking about the devil choking him. And
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It
He
was
went crazy.
Weird.
That was pretty insane. What that guy was saying. You know, you should
What
play
was
that
funny-
and put that
Yeah.
on the next to
What
your
was funny
speaker.
about the post was it was going between him and then going back to a black reverend that was all calm and normal.
Yes.
And then he'd go back to him. And
Yeah.
then he'd go back to the black reverend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You-
Yeah.
That guy
Oh,
was
man.
insane, man. But I honestly, I think he was playing a character. I want to believe that at least, because I did find out that he was a singer or was in this band, and because a lot of people are like, oh yeah, no, that's I don't know, I'm just making a name up. That's Crazy Jimmy. Yeah, he's with this band. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, it was pretty insane for sure. I laughed my ass off when I watched that one. I've seen that before.
Okay, here it is. I found it.
Just play it.
5 feet wide and several feet deep.
Oh, shit. Of course, my internet's gonna be all fucking.
Several feet deep. The images are startling.
Just
and
go
the
to him,
fear from
though.
Passing drivers, very real.
We were just driving down Shane.
There's the
and
Reverend.
next thing you know, we just
Okay.
Yeah,
missed
the
this
Reverend.
giant
This
sinkhole.
guy.
It's amazing that we didn't fall in.
Pastor Barry Randolph.
All right, hold on. Here we go.
Top, and my consciousness is Nancy's open. Consciousness is Nancy's open thighs. I don't know. I can only hope my vexed Savior ascends, and that my servitude to the one true maestro of mayhem can finally be proclaimed.
Is this, you notice when he
Oh,
he
man.
does that little blip, blip, like he'll just
like
start
an auctioneer.
he'll start glitching out.
And then he pauses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Like
crazy.
he's rebooting or something.
Dude, he recited that stuff fast. I was like, oh my god. First I thought he was on meth. For real.
God, he had
I
to
thought
have
he was on meth.
been.
I thought he was on some speed. I
He
was
probably
like,
was.
this guy.
You know, speaking of meth, freaking Big Spring.
Speaking of meth.
Speaking of meth, Big Spring. We were at
Oh man.
it was the first time my kids ever saw somebody on meth, and
Oh my
It's
God.
unfortunate, but it's out there for sure.
absolutely,
yes,
It's everywhere.
there was a guy at a what was it, like a 7-Eleven over there in Big Spring.
On Greg?
Yep.
7-Eleven on Greg?
Yep, on Greg.
Yeah, it was on
absolutely.
Greg.
Yep, it
Yep.
was 7-Eleven on Greg, and there was this guy, and he was getting a Slurpee, and he was just talking like that guy that we just played that clip of.
Oh yeah.
He was glitching
Talking
out and
to the voices.
everything. Yeah, and
Oh,
my
yeah.
kids were like, "Dad, what's wrong with him?" I said, "Oh, don't worry. He's on drugs." They're like, "Well, what drug is that?" And I'm like, "That's probably meth." But I mean, the guy was just, looked like he'd been up for about a good 3 days straight.
He'd
Oh, yeah,
probably
he's on a
been
bender,
using
yeah.
a
Mhm.
while. That was kind of popular. You just get the paychecks would hit, and then everybody would go get wasted, and then they would lose
I
their
saw
job.
I saw meth bill go down the other day in the town next to me called Mineola. I don't know if you guys know
Oh
Mineola.
yeah,
Shut
we actually
up,
have
my
friends from
friend
Mineola.
is from
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, Casey Musgraves is from Mineola. And,
Okay.
that's like kind of what it's known for. And I was coming back from another town called Grand Plain, coming through Mineola, and I had my wife and kids with me, and I looked over to the right, and these two, and they were tweakers. I wouldn't have done this, but they were tweakers for sure. And they were doing a hand exchange. I mean, I watched them clear as day do a hand exchange. So what do? I honked my horn.
Oh,
Really
draw
wrong.
attention.
Oh, Jesus.
And of course, they geeked out and like was looking around and like they scattered. You know what I mean? And I was like,
Like
but
roaches.
they were doing it, and they were doing it in front of like you could. They weren't hiding it. I was like, man, just go
Man,
off
you
the
just
cut.
ruined their day.
I don't
They were
care.
just trying
I
to do a
don't
little bit of
care.
meth chase. Let them get on
Yeah, I
with
don't care.
Dude,
I
they'll
don't care.
zombie out over in Olympia, Washington. It was like that. They were like, I was just talking about this the other day with some guys here. These dudes were totally out of their mind, and they were like walking into the street pole. They looked like fucking zombies, and they were just like
Oh,
over and
that's
over,
messed up.
running into it. And I was like, and I have it actually on my camera. I should post it online. Then this other time, these dudes had their pants down with their asses up, in the air at a gas station in the grass, and they had fell asleep like that, but they had shit all over their ass. So I don't know if they like shit themselves or if someone got ass
I'm
raped.
sure.
That's alcoholism.
And the kids saw it, and I was like, "Well,
Yeah,
kids, this is
they're drunk.
yeah." I was like, "This is not taking responsibility in your life. This is what this looks like."
Right.
I think they'll like never try drugs ever from that. That was pretty awful.
That was the best education they could have gotten, though. In all honesty.
World star.
So
Yeah, I mean,
you're
Go
making
ahead.
knives. Tell us a little bit more about
Yep.
that. Let's try to get back on track
Yeah,
with
you're
that.
good.
But I love how we
Oh, yeah.
segue into these
That's
different
good.
things.
oh,
I like it.
we're real bad, especially with me being on here. It's gonna get.
You're fine.
I'll try to keep us on track.
We like the
Okay.
rabbit
So,
holes.
so I started making some better knives, and I think it really started the whole selling them and getting serious about it. My buddy wanted me to make him a mini cleaver. You've seen the mini cleavers I make, right?
Oh, that thing is beautiful, by the way. I
Yeah.
love that.
And the picture that I have of that's the first one I ever made, and it's I've changed it a little bit. I made it the handle a little bigger and the blade's a little different. But that was the first one I made for a buddy of mine that lives in Maryland, and that was the first knife I sold for money.
Okay. Really?
And yeah, that was the first blade I sold for money. Sold it for $80 with a Kydex sheath, shipped to his door for $80. So I didn't make a lot on it at all. I mean, when you figure in propane,
Sure.
the steel, the handle, the time, I didn't make nothing on it hardly. But it was, he really wanted a Damascus knife. I didn't have my press at the time, and to do a billet that size, you couldn't do it by hand. You know, you just want to be able to.
Sure.
So, unless you were there with me and you had a sledgehammer, we did team hitting or something like that, team
Okay.
striking. So that was the first knife I sold, and then from there it kind of got crazy. I ended up selling, and I made a couple other knives, but I've sold. It used to be my best seller was that Butcher Junior. That's what I call it, the Butcher Junior mini cleaver.
Okay.
And that sold. Kevin ordered 4, so I made 4 for Kevin.
Kevin Bell?
And yep, Kevin Bell had ordered 4. I sold that other one to that kid, to my buddy Joe Tall. That's 1. That's 5. I think I've sold 10 of them.
Of the mini
And it
cleavers?
was all in and it was a short period of time. Yeah.
Did Kevin ever show
And,
you the battle axe that I made him?
No.
Get the fuck out of here.
When did
But I was
Kevin buy
gone.
those
I
knives?
haven't seen Kevin. I've only seen Kevin once since I left Big Spring, and he was working in Bastrop, and I was in San Antonio, so we met in Bastrop.
When did he buy those
And,
knives from you? Because I'm wondering if he ever showed them.
He bought them knives. Oh no, yeah, he bought them knives. Well, when you guys were already gone, I'm sure. 'cause it was-
Okay.
Oh, okay.
2016 we
this was
left.
This was back in March or April. He ordered them
Okay.
of this year. Yes, you guys were already gone. I don't know. Have you been back there? I don't. Yeah. And he ordered 4 of them. So I think I sold like 10 of that. That was the best seller for a while.
Okay.
It seemed like everybody wanted one, and people really liked that. But then I made that 3%er. Did you see that knife on there called the 3%er? It's black. It's like the tactical knife. I don't know if I showed a picture of it.
I don't think you ever showed me a picture of that one.
Yeah, it's like it's a black. It's etched black, and it has a micarta handle on it.
Okay.
Burlap micarta, and I made that.
What is
that
it called?
same guy that
3%er?
I call it the 3%er. Yeah.
Okay.
And the same guy that bought the first mini cleaver, he bought that, and he's like, "I want it right now." I didn't have it on there for 5 minutes. But he's like, "I want it now," and he loves that knife. And I made that one, and then it started getting busier. You know, I made like 3 or 4 more mini cleavers, and then we got our press. We got our hydraulic press. We went up to Riverside Machine Shop in DeQueen, Arkansas, to a guy. They call him Uncle Al. His name's Al. He owns that machine shop. It's in a little town. I mean, this town is tiny. That town's like the size of Kahoma. You've been to Kahoma.
Yep.
You live in Big Spring, and it's and he makes great machine. I mean, that machine is the same machine they have on the show. It's an H-frame style hydraulic press, 24 ton.
Okay.
It's fast. I mean, that thing. You see some of these guys have these nice presses, you know, and but they'll have the hand lever they got to use. This thing is all foot controlled, and it's great. I mean, I can do
Nice.
as much as that, everybody says, you can't do the same thing with a power handler as you can do with a press. I can't do it as fast, but I could do the same things. I
Nice.
guarantee. I put money on it.
Okay.
And it's great. And it was some coins. It cost a pretty good amount of money. Most people won't even buy one unless they were serious about doing it. But I really wanted to make Damascus. Everybody kept asking for Damascus, and I didn't want to buy it. And you can buy it and forge your knife out, but I want to make it. I don't know what it is. When you start making your own knife, well, then you want to do anything you make, you want to make yourself. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I didn't know that you could buy the Damascus already like that.
Oh yeah,
That's
you
crazy.
can buy billets. That's a big business. There's people that's all they do is
That's
sell
what I was
Damascus.
wondering. Like, is it just because they don't want to do it? Just takes
They don't
that
want to put the
step
work
out?
into it.
See, I would
Well,
want something
and some
that
people
was
like there's two ways to make knives. There's hand forge and there's stock removal. The difference is hand forging, you're taking a square billet, a square bar, a piece of round, you can use round bar, you can use whatever, and you're shaping the knife out with heat and a hammer on an anvil. Stock removal, you take already the thickness you want, more or less, and you draw a template onto a piece of steel, and you do it on a bandsaw or a grinder or whatever, and you either grind it out or you cut it out with a bandsaw and then shape it.
Oh, that's cheating. That's cheating.
No, dude, some of the best knives in the world are stock removal because they're still handmade, but they don't. The only time they're in heat is when they put them in an even. Usually they'll use even treats, or they'll heat them they'll temper them and they'll harden them in a forge. But a lot of people have even treats. It's an oven, a kiln.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And that's my next big buy. It's just way better consistency on your heat treat.
Why don't you just make your own forge?
Well, you can out of propane tanks, or actually, I would recommend using an air tank. There's a lot of things going into propane that you got to do before you can even start cutting on it. But I didn't make ones because here's what happened. When my dad watched that show, like I said earlier, I never really planned on making knives because I didn't have the money to even get any of the stuff.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I could have made it all, but I was like, man, to get all the stuff to make it not easy, but to make it so you can make a nice knife, I didn't want to just have some of this stuff. And some of these guys, I give them kudos because they don't have anything. They'll have a freaking angle grinder.
Ooh.
They'll make a brick forge. I mean, and use a pear burner off a propane tank. You burn the birds out of the grass with, in a little handheld deal.
Yep.
And they'll make a forge out of that. And they make knives to start, And, but so my dad went out and I call him my banker.
Nice.
He went out. He called me one day. I was at work doing the tower deal before I quit the tower deal. And he said, I'm going to go get all this stuff. Where should I go get it at? Well, I knew the farrier dude. The farrier dude's like, well, go here. So I
Where's
told him
here?
about Texas Farrier Supply in Kennedale, Texas, which is right south of Fort Worth.
Nice. Give him a shout out.
Yeah, Texas Farrier Supply. If you guys need anything horseshoe related, knife related, they'll take care of you.
Nice.
I mean, they're good guys. So my dad went over there. I was working. He went over there, and I thought he'd buy like a couple things. I'm gonna get a forge. This son of a gun come back with a truckload of
Oh
stuff.
my God.
Like he just went to fucking Toys R Us or some shit.
He spent
That's awesome.
a pile of money on it.
Nice.
And
That's awesome.
And I'm just fortunate enough to be able to use this stuff. It's all his stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Like
That's
he didn't
cool,
have
though.
anywhere to put it. I had a shop at my house,
Nice.
so he put it in the shop, and I just use it.
Nice.
And he bought it so I could do it too, but it's his stuff.
Sure.
And he bought it. We bought a 3-burner Whisper Senior Lowboy forge, which is like one of the best forges you can get for knife making. That forge alone is like $600.
Wow.
Ooh. Okay.
And then you get an anvil. We got a 150-pound Texas Farrier Supply anvil.
Those are
I think that
expensive.
was $550.
Yeah.
But it's not forged anvil. It's cast ductile iron with a hardened top.
What does that
And
mean?
that's all they. Well, it's okay. Back in the day, like some of the Peter Wrights and the Brooks and the Trentons and all that, some of them are forged. If you ever look at an anvil and down by the base, there's holes in it.
Okay.
Two square holes or 2 round holes. That's a forged anvil because that's where they put the tongs at to manipulate it when they're forging it.
Oh, okay.
And
Is one better than
back
the
in the
other?
not necessarily, because here's the thing: if you get yourself an old forged anvil from 18 whatever, or
Mhm.
not maybe not that long ago, the 30s or the 40s or whatever.
Okay.
Now, I mean, typically by now, I ain't saying they're great. There's a bunch of good ones out there. There's hundreds of people that make knives and blacksmith use them, but you have a chance of it could break. You know, I've heard of guys they have a Brooks, or they'll have a Peter Wright or whatever, and they'll be hitting on it, and they'll get a big guy on there, and they'll be hitting on the horn on something, and the horn will snap off completely, boom, because it just gets old, man. Some of them, you know, if you get a really old one, you know, it's just been beat on and hit on, and then if you, especially for knife making, they'll get a saddle in them, you know, where it's dipped in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, then you don't want that because you can never get a knife straight really good, you know. Or they'll have, if you're trying to get a good even forge finish on a knife, they'll have all these nicks and dings on the anvil, real deep ones. Well, that's all going to go into your metal when you're hitting on it when it's hot. So we decided to buy a new one because new's new. You know,
Yeah,
they say they don't make them like they used to. They do. They still make them like shit. They used to make them like shit before because they used to break all the time. They really, I'm serious.
That's awesome.
They do. And that's the words of Jeff Bader off of Knife Talk podcast.
Awesome.
They made them like crap before. They still they don't make them like, they're not crap, but they're.
No, I know what you mean.
Actually,
they broke before. They're
yeah.
going to break now.
Yeah, and I don't even think mine would break. You know, because you know when I started, I didn't know what I was doing. I mishit and I just hit the anvil. I put some dings in it, but I hit it pretty hard on accident, not like directly on it. And like I'm like, oh man, you know, and it takes it. Their anvils are great, you know.
So your name's Lightning, or your nickname's Lightning. You'd never strike the same place twice.
Yeah, right.
They used to call me that offshore.
I believe it.
If you're making knives, if you're forging, you do not want to be that guy.
Got it.
Yeah. I think I'll be doing that part.
But we're actually about to buy another one from them. I think we're going to get a 200-pounder.
Ooh.
Here shortly, because now we're running into the problem where he's in the shop. He'll be making something. Like he was trying to make that guard the other day for that Bowie I sent you a picture of.
Yep.
That he's making.
Beautiful.
And I was trying to forge.
Beautiful.
And I was trying to forge. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Mr. Bowie himself would be proud of that knife.
Oh yeah.
Corny.
And I was trying to forge, so we're trying to do it on the same anvil, and it works out sometimes, but sometimes it's not. So we need to get. I really like to have 3, just because that sounds like a better number to me. But
well, I think you should do 4 because I might need one.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. So
yeah,
4 actually sounds like a better number than me.
We should just do 6 because then we can start teaching classes.
Have you ever thought about doing that?
Yeah.
Maybe even reaching out to the youth, getting the the youth of the world or of Tyler, Texas, into this.
If I took some actual formal blacksmithing classes, I might, because
wait a minute, are you making money on knives right now?
Yes.
Are you not banging on your anvil at least once a day?
Yes.
You're a professional.
Oh yeah, I know. But
what do you need these technical classes for?
Well,
that's that American bullshit.
We used to think that too.
Everyone thinks that, but you can go on YouTube. My daughter taught herself HTML code online, so she can make websites.
Can she make me a website?
Well, I'm not saying she's great at it. I mean, she's 13, so I'm just saying she taught herself code. Yeah.
She can code and I can't, so she's better with that.
Yeah, don't sell yourself short.
After you told me about that guy that come to you and he wanted to buy a knife from me, and he said I wasn't taking orders, I was like, I was upset at myself because I was like, well, I don't know. And I don't know if you said you went on the website. There was nothing on there.
Well, I said website or Facebook. It was wherever he went to. So how this went down.
Okay.
I was seriously just cutting string. I just placed a new tree on the lot, and I started cutting off the string. And the thing that catches everyone's eye is that it's just not a shiny piece of metal. So he saw the Damascus on this knife, and he said, "Whoa, wait a minute. Did you make that?" I said, "No, I didn't make this." I said, "I got a buddy who makes this. Tell him BCKnives. Look him up." So he said he came back the next day, and I mean this wasn't even 12 hours later.
Yeah. He
comes back and he says, "Hey, he's not taking any more orders." Oh, okay. And then he just leaves. And that's all he says. But the fact that he even came back to tell me he's not taking any more orders, and I'm just like, okay. I mean, there might have been more conversation to that, but I mean, I don't know your whole business. I don't know what's going on. And I just remember you telling me that you weren't taking any more orders or that would be shipped out before Christmas. And
before Christmas.
he
And that's what he
might have
wants.
gotten
Yeah.
mistaken by that, meaning,
Yeah.
oh, I can't
Yeah.
get this. So
People hear what they want to hear.
I will never turn money down ever.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
before a certain date, sometimes this is not doable, you know.
Sure.
absolutely.
But yeah, he probably went on the Facebook because I went back on there because right after I had gotten like 15 Christmas orders in like a week,
Oh wow.
and I was freaking out because I was like, I don't even make 15 knives. I was doing one at a time, to start to finish, and then Jim told me, he said, man, you're gonna have to start doing them like you're gonna have to forge 4, grind 4, heat treat 4, do handles on 4. You know what I mean? Or at least forge 4 and get them half, and then grind on them, and then go back and forge 4 more. And, you know, and that's what I do.
Sure,
now.
just to
I
get
do
orders out the
that.
door.
Yeah.
Even if like you order only 2 of one style, I'll do a billet big enough to do 4 or 3,
Nice.
and I'll have
That
an
makes
extra one.
sense.
You know what I mean?
Smart. Yep.
That is smart.
And so I went on the Facebook and I deleted anything because it was a Christmas deal. I know we said we're not taking Christmas orders right now. And then I put on there later on. He must not have looked very far into it because right after that, maybe 2 weeks, I said I opened the books back up for Christmas orders. And the books are never closed totally, but like I said, for certain dates they are sometimes.
Sure.
But maybe this was a lesson learned for you. You know, just to make
Oh,
sure
yeah.
you specify a little bit more because your customers aren't going to look that deep. I mean, we live in
They
a
don't.
now fast society.
We do.
So
Oh yeah. And I'm going to also try to have some on hand. You know, on my website, you go on my website, and I went on the other day to try to update it and say, because there's nothing's in stock because I have nothing available. I keep getting these orders. Everything's been orders. So I haven't just made a bunch of knives and they're just sitting around. Every time somebody orders one, well, before I can even finish that order, somebody else orders one. So it's always like I'm on them orders.
That's
And
good business.
so I've tried to go on there and put a little paragraph that says, due to most of the business's orders right now, we don't currently have any knives in stock, but we will, be glad to make you a knife or whatever.
Sure.
You know.
Custom.
But
yeah.
but that's the whole problem with this website company I'm using. Wix. It's one of the best ones on the market, supposedly for templates and all that, and for one that you're not coding. But man, it was just freezing up. I typed the paragraph, which took me 30 minutes because it kept freezing up. And it might be my wife's old laptop. It might be. I don't know. And then I went to publish it, and it wasn't even there, dude. I was so mad. I just gave up. So I need to have somebody make me a website. I really do. I want to have somebody code me a template how I want it, And
So
I'm
what
just
you're
gonna have to
saying
find
is,
somebody
if
to do
someone's
it.
listening to this,
Yeah, I was gonna say
contact
that.
BC Knives
Yes.
if you want to
Yes.
help with the
Please.
website.
We have a few
Yes.
followers that are graphics designers
Yes.
and have helped us
They don't
with
have to be super
stuff.
fancy. I just want to have certain things. Like I want to have
Yeah.
some categories. Like I want to have a menu bar on the left side in the corner. Bowie knives,
Yeah, sure.
belt knives, EDC knives,
My mom
kitchen
might
knives.
even be
and
able
then
to
you
do
can click,
that.
and then you can click in there, and you'll be whatever styles I have in that category.
Sure.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
Here's the thing, right? My website that I have, I've been working on probably since 2010. I don't know. It's been a long time. And it's
Wow,
or maybe
yeah.
2011. I don't know. Anyway, it's taken me a long time to figure out. I use WordPress, and I've gone off and on. I tried Bluehost and freaking, I don't know. It never really integrated correctly, and I'm not technologically savvy, and I just got too fucking frustrated
You
with
say
it.
that, but here we are doing a podcast.
I know.
yeah, and all this
But
technical mixer equipment and all this stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say that it's hard when you're doing categories and stuff because you're you want to come at it from the customer's perspective. So whoever that you hire, just remember you have everything that you need to know in your head. And so for you to communicate that to somebody else
Draw that shit in crayon.
with the same passion.
I'm gonna
yeah.
make cards. I'm gonna write it on cards, and they're gonna type what I put in.
Yeah, I was going
Or
to
I'm
say
gonna
just
be mad because
Barney
with knives
style.
it's specific. Yeah, it's very specific with knives. You gotta there's certain
Right.
language, and
Absolutely.
especially people that buy knives, they're gonna look for certain things being said just to even see if you're bullshit or not.
So you just need somebody to copy paste into
Just
basically what you're saying into a website.
And I just need them to code it for me and make it. And they can have a touch, if they're good at doing whatever they do. But
Sure.
and I want to make nice. I like elegant stuff. So I want it to be nice and real professional looking.
You
know-
should check out
And I don't mind-
Fiverr too.
And I don't mind spending some. I'm gonna spend some money on it. You know, I know it's gonna cost some money. I
Sure.
don't want to go broke over it, but
Yeah.
you know.
Hey, so
But,
what Morgan just said, you should check out Fiverr,
Yeah.
Fivver. Fiverr. You can do like put a
You
post
contract out
okay, and
jobs,
say,
yeah.
you're contracting jobs and say, hey, I need help with my website, $5 an hour,
Yeah.
and people will work with you,
Or whatever
$5
price.
And I'll
an
do it.
hour.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that kind of like Angie's? It's like Angie's List, but for other stuff. Or
There
is it
you
for
go.
the same- is it the same
Sure,
deal? Is it
for
the same
whatever
thing?
you want.
You'll get a lot of
Yeah.
people contact you like, oh, hey, I can do this. This is my experience. Here's some, here are some websites I've done. And then you can go look at them.
Can you put on there after your needs have been met? Can you put on there like
Like a
not
review.
available or something, so they don't call you like for weeks on end,
I don't know. Yeah, probably. I'm probably so.
or delete it? I guess you just delete it. I
yeah,
guess,
you
probably.
probably.
Sure.
Yeah, because I deleted mine that I had up. I never ended up using it.
You know,
I'm about to do that.
Yeah,
one
check
thing
it
I
out.
like about you, Chase, is you as a bladesmith, you are so interactive online. The
Yeah.
entire time that I was wanting my knife to be made, just you would show pictures or whatever, and I
Yeah.
knew, and you would even say, hey, I'm making so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so's knife today. And
Yeah,
there
I
was
tried
just,
to,
you were giving updates while you were working, and we were able to just throw in some comments.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I like this. Hey, can you do this? Hey, what about this? Or then when it came time for handles, hey, it's ready for so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so's again, handles. What do you guys want? Here's some options for you. If you don't like
Yeah.
these, here's a website you can go to, and you can go find your
Yep.
specific wood. And so I was going to go with a different kind of handle originally.
Totally different.
And
totally
then,
different.
yeah. And then whenever you put that on there, and it was Islewoodscreations or whatever it was.
Islewoods, yeah.
What is it? Say
Islewoods?
it again.
Isla, I think it's Isla. It's ISLE Woods Isla, or is that Isle? That's not. It's Isla, right? Yeah.
It can
I
be
don't know. I have
Isle
no clue.
too. Yeah,
Who
fucking
knows?
English
Is that,
language.
is that Isle? Is that how you spell Isle?
One of the ways, yeah, but it's more like an island, like Desert Isle.
I'm not educated.
Well, here's the thing. I'm a master speller, and I'm going to give you a quick little story why. Just really quick. When I was in kindergarten, I was in a spelling bee at the mall, and I was asked to spell hall, and it should have been Hall for all these basic people. Well, I said Hell, and then everybody laughed at me. I got embarrassed, and I left the stage. And I was like, "Fuck!" I spelled hell. I didn't say fuck. I was like in kindergarten, but still.
I flunked out of a spelling bee, misspelling Christmas.
Because I
forgot
thought
the
you
T.
spelled Isle like ILSE.
We can call it whatever you want. ISLE.
But anyway, this
didn't-
company's out of Hawaii, and they got
Sorry.
some of the best burls. Your burl is fabulous, I think.
Oh wait, so they're
I
out of
love
Hawaii.
it. I call my blade El Diablo because that's what that.
Hell yeah.
And when you held
Yeah.
that that was another good thing about you. You actually sent me a picture when you
Side by
book matched
side, yeah.
the two pieces of wood.
Dude, they
and
were
then
they were so sweet, weren't they?
but when
Yeah.
they're beautiful. And then whenever, I was looking at the picture, I actually turned it upside down and it was a totally different design. Now I understand on a handle, it's not going to be book matched. I get that.
You
But
can't, unless it's a huge handle.
but mentally, in my head, I know what this handle's made out of.
Yeah.
And it just looked like this crazy demon, so I just called it El Diablo.
Dude, it did. It looked out of control. I would look at it and I would literally start losing myself in it.
Yeah, no, you
Yeah.
seriously could.
That
No.
sounds corny, but
No.
I even told my wife, I said, "Look at this. This is out of
The
control."
design was
What did I tell
crazy.
you about woodworking, though?
Oh yeah, let the wood speak to you.
Let the wood speak to you. It's going to tell you what it wants to do because you have
Yeah.
this, this idea. I want it to be this. Problem is,
No,
if you start
ain't gonna
going
do that.
against what this wood really wants to do, you're going to screw the whole project up.
it's
So,
gonna cause problems.
and it
for
just
sure,
has everything to do with the grain. Every single piece of wood, just like a human being, is different. It grew differently.
Yeah,
Its
that's true.
upbringing was
Oh,
different.
yeah.
Its environment was different. So its wood grain actually
Imagine
became
how old-
something so different.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine how old your handle is, because burl's typically old. You know
That's
what I mean?
true.
Dude,
Man.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
And yours is maple. They got some wood I've never even heard of. What's cheese wood? They have cheese wood. I mean,
I don't
dude,
even know.
Sounds
Wood up-
delicious.
yeah, there's wood that it's like Australia's known for some of that. They have one called beef wood.
Okay, so
Well, that's because it got the biggest cow in the world right now. That's why it's beef wood.
Yeah.
but let me tell you
Yeah,
real quick.
I've never heard of beef wood. They have some crazy wood for sure over there.
You said that this company was out of Hawaii.
Yeah, that company is Hawaii. They get burl imported in. I went on their site, looked at their pictures. They get crates full of burls that are the size of like, dude, they're the size of like me and Ryan standing next to each other. Like they're
Wow.
huge, big. I mean, they're getting high dollar burls. The burl's not cheap.
Oh,
Very
it's
expensive.
beautiful. The
And they're
patterns,
get-
the wood,
and
the
they're
wood
getting it in
grain.
by like, from what it looks like, they're getting it in by the semi truck load.
Wow.
Well, you know, forging is kind of a
It was
big
very
deal.
inexpensive too. I think I paid what, $35.
Shipped, I think they were 40. Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
yeah, which is for a good
Still
quality
cheap.
wood. Yeah,
Cheap.
Yeah.
That's
The
good.
most expensive wood I've come across for knife handles is koa wood. I
Okay.
guess that's how you say it, koa, K-O-A.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
And it for a block of that, like upwards of $80.
Wow.
You know, for like a block for like a hidden tang, or you know, you cut like maybe. Well, I guess it wouldn't be that much because if you get a block, you could probably cut 2 sets of scales out of it, 1/4 inch thick each. So
Well, at least you get more.
2
than
sets. So
one.
it'd be $40 again, I guess. That's about the same, I guess. Yeah.
That's not
But
bad.
if you're going to do a hidden tang, it'd be one handle. So then it would be high dollar.
I
Okay.
liked all those blue ones that you have too. Those are kind of cool.
Oh,
yeah.
the wood and resin hybrids.
Yeah, those are pretty.
Yeah, I just did one today. Did you show her that knife I did today?
No, I
Or
didn't.
the blue. I did a dark blue, and it's I'm pretty sure all that wood's mesquite that I get. That's from a different guy off Etsy.
That's a good Texas
AAO
knife.
AAO Customs on Etsy, and he makes Ryan, because I know you like guns. He makes some of the sickest pistol grips I've ever seen in my life, dude.
Really?
You gotta get, and like you remember the teal ones you wanted, the teal handle with the wood?
Yeah.
He has that in a 1911. He has it for like 4 different pistol models, and they're pre-cut. You just pre-drilled. You just screw them on. They're $60.
Really?
Wow.
I mean, I don't know if you want something fancy, but he has crazy looking ones. I mean, there are some that are out of control.
Huh.
Yeah, he does that, and then he makes knife handle material too.
Nice.
That's good. To
You know, speaking of me liking guns, firearms, so I think I was calling this company differently. It's 80% lowers. That's the company that I use.
Oh yeah, for the Millenial.
80% lowers. Yeah. I got a email from them recently, and
Oh.
I haven't ordered from them, Jesus, forever. And
That's it,
they
yeah.
still send me emails. But yeah, I always check them out whenever I get these emails to see what they have. But yeah, it's 80% lowers.
My daughter has come and found me.
Oh, you were hiding.
Nice.
We always would hide in the bathroom.
I was in the living room, but I bring him back in here.
Chase
That's
the
okay.
dad.
Yeah. So
Go to
what?
sleep.
Your family life. I mean, so when we met you, you like weren't married, right? You were
Well, he was
No, I was.
separated.
Yeah, I was separated and
okay.
and just about to be divorced. Right when then we were just separated because she had already left. It was it just had happened more or less.
Yeah. Okay.
And the first time I was married for 6 years, it was a good run, but just didn't work out.
Sure.
And then in 2014, I got remarried.
Okay.
I met my wife. My wife's from Midland originally, but she had been living in you know where Cleburne is, right?
Yeah.
Over
Yep.
by Glen Rose. Yep. She was been living there for a long time, and she was getting ready to move back to Midland. And actually, we met on a dating website.
Oh, cool.
Or a dating app, and it wasn't POF, it wasn't Tinder, none of that. It was actually called Scout. It was more like it was kind of like Zeus, kind of, but more scaled down. And she had actually contacted me. You know what I mean? So that caught my attention because I wouldn't really get on there that much. I would just get on there once in a while. Like I'd be on the location.
Sure.
I'd be in the bathroom. I'd be in the porta john. And I just get on there. You know, that's what dudes do. They get to the bathroom, they get on their phone a little bit.
I know.
Telling all our
I
secrets
live in
now,
a
Chase.
tiny house, Chase, with a curtain over our toilet.
And,
We're pretty open here.
And she had hit me up. I noticed I had a message or whatever. So, you know, I convinced this girl to go out on a date with me. In West Texas, that's kind of sketchy because there's a lot of freaking weirdos in West Texas.
Oh, yeah.
You get all.
there are.
There's okay. They say oil field trash. There is trash. There's some
Sure.
good dudes. But
Sure.
a bunch of them are there's a bunch of scandalous ass dudes and women.
Yeah,
It's not
they
equal.
are.
But there are some good dudes. But usually they're locked down or whatever. But so I convinced her to go on a date with me, and we went to. Actually, it was before Logan's had closed down in Midland, but Logan's steakhouse was open still, and we went there. And then I somehow convinced her. I said, "You want to go to Sugar's?" And I assumed she knew what it was or where it was at. So she's like, "Yeah, I'll go have a beer or whatever." I start driving. I get on 20, start driving, and she never said a word. But she texted her friend and said, "Here's what I'm wearing. This is where I'm supposed to be going. If I don't come back,
Oh, my
Jesus.
God.
yeah."
That's so
Because
That's
I
awesome.
started driving to Big Spring, and she didn't know where it was at. So she's like, "Where the hell are we going?"
taking me to the fucking woods.
Hold on, say what?
The microphone is right here in this piece.
Oh well. Oh, I'm there screaming at my phone, and the microphone's like on the headphones. I don't even know it. So that's how not tech savvy I am. Anyways,
Sounds great.
you guys, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear
I
you
hear you
fine.
great.
Well, I'm gonna set my phone down.
Yeah, go ahead.
So she's over there laughing at me, and so we go to Sugar's, right? We get into Sugar's. It had to be there Friday or Saturday because it was very busy, and it was like, man, we were done eating. This was also, I don't know if it's something with women, but like on you guys' first date, like out to eat. If you ever went out, did you ever eat, Morgan? Did you get anything to eat at all?
All the time.
Stuffed her face.
I was
Oh.
Well, definitely a pig.
She would not. I don't know if she was nervous, but all she got was a beer, which was cool. She drank beer.
Nice.
I say it's the cheapest date ever. It's great.
That's awesome.
She's hot.
That's awesome.
And I, you know, I didn't want to talk a lot, but she really was being quiet, so I talked a little. You know, I talked some. I didn't talk her ear off, but I talked some. And she said that actually made her feel comfortable because she didn't feel like she had to say anything. You know, and try to, you know. I mean, she talked, but not a lot. You know, she wasn't a chatty Cathy. Let's say that. And so we go to Sugar's, and it's like 7:30, right? It wasn't even busy yet. So, but then it starts getting busy, and we're standing. You went to the old Sugar's, right? You've been there before, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you know you walk in the door, and then the bar's right there, like the end of the bar's right there.
Yeah,
And
right
we
when
were
you
standing
walk in.
right there. We were standing right there, and as soon as I walked in, there's some people in there, but it wasn't busy. I'd say there's 20 people in there. Well, all these people, you know, everybody knew me. So in the regular crowd, so everybody's talking to me, shaking my hand, giving me props, whatever. And then here comes all these people start piling in because it was a band. And she said, "I either thought you were a drug dealer or a politician," because every person that walked through the door shook your hand.
That's
Every
awesome.
single one of them.
You're a drug dealer or
And
a politician?
some of these people I didn't know. I don't know why they're shaking my hand, but I was like, whatever. I was drunk. You know, I had a buzz on for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, it was one of the two, you know, because usually everybody likes the drug guy. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially in
And,
Big Spring.
Oh yeah, especially in Big Spring. Yeah. And that turned out good. And then literally, we hung out every day. You know, we would work on it, but we hung out every day. I've literally only been away from her overnight for like, I think maybe 2 or 3 nights since we've been married almost 5 years.
Oh,
Nice.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Very
That's
cool.
cool.
Yeah, it worked out good. And we're both cancers, which it doesn't usually work out, but it works somehow.
Aw.
Yeah.
My
Our
daughter's
birthdays
a
are like
Cancer.
a week and something apart, a week and a couple days apart.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Like the same year?
No. She was born 88, and I was born 85.
Oh, okay, nice. Still
Yep.
80s babies, so she grew up with the 90s
Oh, yeah.
cartoons.
I'm a Xennial or whatever. She's a Millennial, but I mess with her about it.
Yeah, what is
Yeah, I'm
that?
a Xennial.
What is it
Yeah,
called?
we have to set that straight now.
Is it a Xennial? Is that how you say it?
I don't know. You taught me about it.
Xennial.
I just seen that thing on Facebook. It might even be fake. You know how Facebook is. You can't believe shit on there.
Who
It's
knows?
not true.
You can't trust anything on Facebook anymore.
I'm bad about sharing posts. But if it
Without
has a
checking
name,
them?
then I might be. Yeah, I do. I'm bad about it. I'm the guy you talk about that's an asshole like that. But
Spreading
some
fake
of the-
news.
Yeah, fake news. Yep.
Trump
Fake
doesn't
news,
like you.
Yep. Yeah, but you know, I have been trying to do a little more research on stuff. But yeah, I saw that on there. It said if you were older than, 32, I think it is, you're a Xennial, 32 to whatever range.
Okay.
Maybe it's made up because these dudes didn't want to be millennials. I don't know.
Probably.
They probably want to have their own category. I don't know.
Because I don't want to be a millennial.
Dude, I embrace that term.
Yeah, you got to just
because
accept
I love to embrace that. You know why I love to embrace that? Because I'm exact opposite of what they think a millennial is. I mean, by the time I was 30 years old, I'd fought in a war, got a college degree, became debt-free, and built my own house with my bare hands. Yeah. Like, what the fuck have you done with your life, baby boomer? Have you ever built a fucking house?
No.
It was cool.
They acquired debt. That's all they did. Because that's all they were taught to do.
Sure.
Out of all the old people that we've met traveling, older people, or even before traveling, they were always like, I wish I would have known then what I know now. And they'd like praise us, like, man, you guys figured it out. Yeah. It's not about having all this shit, you know?
No.
And it's crazy.
I loved your house. I remember when I went with Jim, we pulled up, I was like, look at this place. Holy shit.
Who the fuck am I meeting? They're either drug dealers or politicians.
Yeah. I remember Pablo Escobar over here. What the fuck? Yeah.
Right.
We over here with the cartel. What's going on, Jim?
We're out in the fucking dark.
It's a biker gang. It's like, what is it?
Yeah, what is going on here? I appreciate that. That's cool. Thank you.
But it was Did you guys, was that how the house was before you had your incident? Or
no.
We
totally
upgraded.
Did a different floor plan?
No, it was
this
the
was
same.
after.
It was the same floor plan because the foundation was fine, but we
got $75,000 extra in our insurance.
We added the gate.
So you got a different blueprint when you rebuilt.
Yeah, like we
sort of.
Well, we had the same floor plan, but like we opened up like we could take down some walls. We like opened up the dining room and
we had
made
a
the big
25-foot
bar.
ceiling on the inside.
Yeah. I remember you had high. I remember it was high ceilings. Yeah.
We
had
have
an intercom, whole house surround sound, travertine flooring.
The reason we raised the ceiling, we had 3 attic entry points before the fire.
Oh, that's right.
And because we didn't have anything to put in the attic, we were like, well, why do we need why do we need all this attic space? That was supposed to be our forever home. So we're like, well, fuck it, just take out those 2 entry points. So we'll just do an attic garage like everybody else fucking has, because who needs that much shit in their attic? So then we were like, then we were able to bump the ceilings, and then instead of having the upstairs room closed, it was a loft, and then we added the bump outs on the kids' rooms.
Yeah. So I remember I was like, hey, you guys did it. Like, it was spot on. What I would want if I was going to buy a nicer house. Our house is nice, but it's an old house. Our house was built in 56.
My house is a bus now, though.
I know.
Oh, yeah,
okay,
it's great.
We're rocking the bus, amigo.
Sweet. Oh, yeah, that thing's great, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember too, you were growing the plant like hydroponically or whatever. Is that how you were doing it?
Yeah.
You were growing all your vegetables and stuff. Aquaponics.
With the fish.
Yeah,
oh my gosh, that's
sweet.
right.
Yeah.
That was right then.
Sweet. I mean, you showed us something. You were doing good with it too. Their stuff was growing.
I appreciate that.
I wish we would have just grown some bud in there, but we only just did tomatoes and peppers.
That's what I would have done. But
I
don't always do the right thing.
I was too scared.
In Texas, that's not the right thing.
Exactly. Yeah, I was just too scared.
So can I tell my story the very first time I ever met you?
Yeah, you could tell just parts of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So parts of. So I remember you come in the house.
You know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Sure, I know what you're talking about. And so you come in the house and just met you. Boom. Here's Chase. All right.
Who's this fucking guy?
So
who's this fucking midget? Yeah.
Jim. Because me and Jim are both. Well, Jim's 6'4".
Dude,
I'm 6'2".
Gigantic.
And you're what? What'd you say you were? 5'5"?
I'm 5. Yeah, I'm a freaking midget.
Okay. No, 5'2".
I'm a
I
little
think is
person.
technically
I'm
a little person.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. So, anyways, Jim wanted to see this rifle that I had just gotten, and it was an LWRC Reaper, I think is what it was called. Mm-hmm. And so I take him, both you guys, you come back there, I'm showing you this rifle, I hand it to Jim. Jim's like, oh, man,
sweet gun, sweet.
Yeah, it was beauty. The worst thing about it, though, you had to shoot federal ammunition. You couldn't just buy some just cheap Plinker-type ammunition.
It was only federal?
Yeah, it had to be like top-notch ammunition. You couldn't buy anything cheap. And so that's why I got rid of it. I was like, dude, this is trash.
That's not a bad thing, though.
That's a horrible thing. Because when in combat, are you going to find federal ammunition?
Yeah, well,
you're not.
Yeah, that particular ammunition.
Man, I want to be able to find shit on the ground, pick it up, throw it in the chamber, throw one down range. That's what I want to
Yeah.
do. If I got to go pick through all this ammo, like, that's not federal, can't use that. That's a trash weapon.
Yeah, definitely for apocalypse.
Yeah,
it is,
if you want to be a rich yuppie asshole, yeah, that's a great weapon for you. But I mean, if you want to be, someone
Every
combat
situation
efficient,
is combat efficient. Every
Yeah.
situation has
That's
to
right.
be combat
NATO
effective.
compatible.
fact, absolutely. That's why you get a piston-driven system on your AR or your AR-15.
Yeah, the piston.
But anyways, so you got Jim was checking that out. He hands the rifle back to me. I was like, "Here, you wanna see this?" You're like, "I can't touch that weapon." It's like, and there was just this little pause. Why the fuck not? You tell me. I'm a felon. Jim's face said everything. Jim was like, "Holy shit, I know Ryan. He's thinking, did he touch kids?" That was like the first thing that goes through my mind.
Are you a Chester? Yeah.
And so Jim immediately jumps in and he goes, no, it's not what you think. It's okay. I was like, so why are you a felon? Jim's like, dude, it was just a marijuana charge. Don't even worry about it.
Right.
Oh, okay. You didn't even know I smoked at that time. So you didn't touch the rifle.
I didn't know. No.
No, yeah. And so I put it back.
And that's why I didn't say that. Yeah, because I didn't want to. Because some people care about that. I didn't know. Yeah.
Sure. No, and I appreciate your candor was great.
Yeah.
And then later on, we're just all sitting there drinking beer. It was a Shiner, I think. Drinking
A lot of
Shiner by.
A lot of Shiner.
How much Shiner? I don't even remember.
I love it.
So anyways, then all of a sudden I light up a joint or something or
Some
smoked out of my
bong
pipe.
or
And you
something.
looked at
I
me
think,
and you were like,
it was your glass. Yeah.
I'll never forget what you told Morgan and I. You were like, you guys are the coolest motherfuckers I've ever met in my life.
And I would have joined in. I would have joined in on that, but like I said,
you were-
rig got stacked out. So
Yeah, I remember.
And Jim said, I was gonna. Jim's like, you better not, man, because you're trying to get a job.
You better not.
You have to
No,
get-
that's a good
Yeah.
decision. That's responsible.
Jim keeps me straight sometimes. You know what I mean?
That's
Jim
But I
keeps
wanted
me
to in the
straight
worst way.
sometimes.
It smelled so good, and I was like, dang, I was chomping at the bit too.
Sure.
It was bad. Yeah.
But yeah,
It's
that was the
okay.
first time I ever met you. I love that
was
story.
funny. That was funny.
It's a
You're
great
like,
story.
what the fuck is this? Yeah, it's funny.
So
Who'd you bring in my house?
So you guys got married, and then you guys had some kids. Right?
Yeah,
I say you have young kids.
Yeah, we were, the whole deal was, the plan was, my plan always is, or has been in the past, you date a girl for a year. If it's going good, you get engaged.
Sure.
If you
You're
get
such a
engaged for a
gentleman.
year, and then you get married, just a
Yeah.
year. You know what I mean? And what happened was, she doesn't have endometriosis or whatever, but she's had trouble having kids supposedly or whatever. Well, she got pregnant 4 months in.
Oh.
Wham, easy.
He said,
Like it
wham.
was meant to,
Birtle
like it
Myrtle.
was meant to.
I like how you
it was
push
meant
that
to
all
be.
on her like she just got pregnant. Like, I don't know how
And
this
that
happened.
bitch caught pregnant.
She caught it.
Here's the thing too. Like, I was married for 6 years and never had a kid once. And we
Sure.
tried a
It
bunch.
was just meant
So
to
I
be.
didn't know. If
That's
I
the
was
funnest part,
if I
trying.
could. I didn't know if I could even have a kid. So like we weren't really worried about it. So we're just doing our thing, and
Gotcha.
she gets pregnant. Well, so just for the fact that she's always done right. She had done right by me the whole time. So
Sure.
just for insurance reasons and everything, we moved the wedding up
Sure.
quite a bit.
Sure, I get it.
That's
You
awesome.
took responsibility like a man.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Way to go.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
And as her
awesome.
dad said, "You're gonna do this, or I will kill you." Whatever.
That's funny.
And
That's great.
so we got married on June 20th of 14,
Awesome.
and we had a reception the day after. We kind of split it up. It was kind of cool how we did it,
Yeah.
and just you're not trying to do everything at one time, and it makes it way easier. So you get married, and then you go get drunk after that and have a party, and we did have a little party. We cooked out at
Exactly.
her house. Me and her dad got shit faced.
That's awesome.
And then the next day we had a reception and we got shit faced again.
That's
So,
awesome.
Best way to cure hangover.
yeah. And we drank a handle of Fireball in like an hour.
Oh, Fireball's deadly.
Hey, there goes Kevin Bell again. He
The
brought it.
devil,
He
Kevin.
loves his
with the
Fireball. That's a fact.
Fireball.
He does. He likes Fireball.
I
You
will
wanna hear-
never
you wanna
drink
hear-
it
You want to hear a
again.
Kevin Bell story? You want to hear a good Kevin Bell story? Because I got some good ones.
Should we tell a
Okay.
good Kevin Bell story, though? I don't know if everyone should hear a
I don't
good
think
Kevin Bell
anybody's
story.
ready for a good Kevin.
Dude, you got it.
We're talking about Kevin Motherfucking Bell here.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
has to be like a.
This has to be a PG Kevin.
Yeah,
Bell.
this has to be a PG Kevin Bell story.
Okay. Yeah, it's PG.
He goes, maybe.
Let's do it on that. Okay, let's do it.
We used to go out and drink all the time, like I said, so we'd be hungover in the morning. So sometimes, he'd show up on time or whatever, or sometimes I wanted to be ready. He'd be honking the horn. Well, one time, I knew he had hit it hard. He was drunk when he got home.
No.
So I got up, got my shit around, got my ass in
That
gear,
is PG.
got to his house. His door was unlocked. I went inside, and I literally, to get him out of bed, I had to lure him out of bed with a fucking McGriddle. McDonald's sausage
awesome.
McGriddle.
Yep.
Dude, he's out there. He's laying in the bed, spread eagle, just laying there freaking. Dude, he was freaking wrecked. We might have had 3 hours of sleep, maybe 3 hours.
Oh,
of sleep.
one of those nights.
Yeah.
Bummer. Still
Dude.
drunk. Still
Yeah.
drunk.
Yeah, we spent a half a paycheck at the bar. Yeah, and and I had already got McDonald's because I knew he was gonna be hungry. I was fucking hungry. If he didn't eat it, I was gonna eat it. So I unwrapped this McGriddle and I stick it in his face up to his nose, and he literally just starts sitting up, and I just bring it back towards me, And he just, lowering him in to sit up, and then he sets up. He's like, "What?" I'm like, "We gotta go to work, dude." And he's like, "I know." He's like, "Give me that sandwich."
Give me that sandwich.
Yeah, and he eats the sandwich or whatever, and he gets ready, and we go out. But dude, it was just, if you could have filmed it, it was epic. I mean, it was just,
I've had
you couldn't
quite a
make it
few
up.
of
It was
those.
ridiculous.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I want
it
to
was
pile on a
awesome.
Kevin Bell story, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do you like that, Kevin.
We
yeah,
have
he has
so
some-
many.
I love that guy, dude.
I'm sure you
Kevin
do too.
Bell is awesome.
We just can't.
Everybody
Like that would
likes
be the
him.
only.
Everybody
content
needs
I
a Kevin Bell
can't
in their life.
say. But
That's right.
we're only doing it because we love him and we respect him.
Oh,
and-
everyone needs a Kevin Bell in their life.
like,
Oh, yeah.
We'll just.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're good.
The
Without
thing about
him-
Kevin,
Without Kevin Bell, we wouldn't have this podcast right now.
God, that's true.
He's the one that taught us
Yeah, or
everything about electrical.
Yeah,
you would have had a harder time for sure.
yeah, we would have.
Horrible time. He made it easy,
when me
paint
and
by
him-
numbers.
When me and him used to get together, and like I was married, I actually proposed to my wife in his backyard. Over there when he lived in the vet.
Aw, I
they
loved
moved now,
his
but yeah.
backyard.
He had a great backyard with that pond.
He had that swing there, that little swing by the pond. Yeah, that's where she was sitting. Yep.
Oh, so
Yep.
they moved? Oh, they probably had to move. I remember
Yeah,
that was
they
going
moved. They
on.
moved to a different place. Yeah,
Nice.
in Big Spring somewhere. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
cool. I haven't
But
heard
when
from
me and him used to get together, Yvette, his fiance, and my wife would just be like shaking their heads because they knew it was gonna be a long night.
Yeah,
Dude, like,
exactly.
they'd come out and tell us to put the fire out, and
They
they'd
know
put it
you
out,
guys.
and we'd restart it.
Oh,
Of
jeez.
course.
They get mad. They'd get pissed off. We weren't gonna shut it down. We're gonna go all night.
Absolutely.
Yes, there were
Absolutely.
a lot of those. Quite a few. We were burning a lot of wood during the fire or during the bus build, so we were always
Had a fire
having
going.
fires. Yeah, that was.
And it gets cold in West Texas. I mean, it gets freaking cold.
You know what? I'm
The
glad
wind.
it did. I'm glad it did. When
Yeah,
we
it
were
was-
working in the bus, we didn't really know how, because we weren't going to close all these windows off, but then it got fucking cold. So we fucking did.
It gets insane cold there. People don't realize.
So
No,
where are
even
we in
Texas
your
in general.
knife making career? We got to get back to
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Oh yeah, we're getting way off.
Well, he had
We
started
need to
Hold on,
call
before
this
that-
show Inception because we get into levels of Inception.
the rabbit
here.
hole.
Inception. Yeah, but we do have. She asked earlier. We do have 2 kids. We have a daughter. She just turned 4, and we have a son. He'll be 3 in February. So we have 2 kids. I have a kid with another woman that was
Right.
totally a one-night stand. It was totally a one-night stand deal. Well, it is what it is.
Bummer.
He lives in Corpus, and then my wife has a son that's I think he's 10 now. He lives in Alabama with his dad.
Very
so-
cool.
So we have 2 together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
really
back to
cool.
knives.
No, that's cool. So as soon
I like
as
how you backpedaled like correctly out of that.
Yeah,
I
you
forgot we were
did.
even talking about that. So nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Definite
Yeah.
levels of Inception.
Yeah. So the knives, okay. So I made a bunch of them mini cleavers, and then I made that 3%er knife that I did, and then I'm trying to think what I made after that. Oh, so we got the press, we got the hydraulic press, and that's where it really took off. Got the hydraulic press,
Nice.
my first billet I ever made on it was a success. I was concerned because, forge welding is not an easy thing to do. It's all about, we talked about earlier about the prep work.
Yeah.
It's all about the prep. It's all about the prep work.
Okay.
100%. You go on that show, you see the guys on that show, and they don't get welds to set. It's because they didn't clean the steel off. And that's the only reason. If you don't clean the steel off, it is not gonna weld. I don't care who you are, what you do. And if it does, it's
because you're welding, you have to have clean metal.
Yeah.
And there's different ways. Like some guys use flux. You see them put the flux on there. Usually it's borax, or I have a different flux I use. It's by White Mountain Forge. It's actually dried out flux that has some other stuff in it. It's more made for forge welding.
Okay.
But there's a new trick I learned or I heard about, and I'm gonna start doing it. You dip the billet in kerosene, a bucket of kerosene. When you stack up your layers. 6 layers of 15N20, 6 layers of 1095 or 1084, whatever. You machine weld it together, put a handle on it. You dip that into kerosene, let it sit in there for a minute, let it get inside of the layers, and then you just stick that in your forge. And it's going to flame up or whatever. It's going to burn off. But when it burns off, the residue that it leaves behind, the soot or whatever, that acts like as a flux. That acts like a barrier so oxygen can't get in there. Because flux eats up your forge. It eats up, like my forge is fire brick. It's lined with fire brick. And then it has it's called hard wool. Instead of there's soft wool that you can like add in yourself, and there's hard wool, WOOL, and it's lined with that. And then I have the soft wool you put in there, but the flux will eat the soft stuff out. So every time I forge weld it, I pull the bottom mat out, and it's just on the fire bricks. But by now, I got like 2 inches of flux in there built up because it hardens. And so people don't like using flux because it eats your forge up. It's caustic or whatever.
Okay.
But the kerosene trick I'm going to try. I haven't done it, but what you got to do with the kerosene is you got to set the welds on the first heat. You get that first heat going and you start hitting it or start squeezing it. You got to set the welds that time because you can't re-dip it or your whole bucket will go up in flames. You know what I mean? Because it's hot. You can't stick it back in the kerosene.
Okay.
That always looks so badass when they stick it in there and it's like whoosh and like all the flames come and it's like, look at this metal. And they always have some crazy music going.
When they quench it, that's when they quench it.
Yeah, and they quench it.
Yeah, when they quench, that's hardening. Yeah, that's when they quench, yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Is that what they have on Forged in Fire? Is it the kerosene or is that water? What is that?
No, that's oil. That's Parks 50 oil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What we're talking about is like when you make a billet, right? You take
like
your layers. You take whatever. Some people make 24. They start with 24 layers. I start with 12.
Okay.
I start with 12 layers typically, and I do 6 of one metal, 6 of the other metal. And you stack them on top of each other, alternating, and then you machine weld them, put a handle on it. I use rebar, and then what normally I do, I stick it in there, or I'll spray it down with WD-40 on all the seams, and that's kind of like a barrier too. And you stick it in there and let it get. You don't let it get glowing, but you let it get warm, so the flux will stick to it. And I usually pull it out and put flux on the sides and the front and the back, anywhere that oxygen can get into. Because if you build up scale in between your layers, it won't forge weld.
Okay,
the same as if there's dirt in there or rust or anything.
Sure.
And but the kerosene, if you dip it in the kerosene, it's supposed to act like flux, but only one time. So you got to set the welds the first time. Usually I will, but sometimes it's borderline. Like they're set, but are they 100% set? I don't know.
Right.
But if I start doing the kerosene deal, I'll really get it hot. I'll get it. It'll be glowing. It always is glowing, but I'll really get it glowing, and I'll put the squeeze on it.
That's cool.
Yeah. I wish you guys, man, you guys got to come here sometime so Ryan can get on that machine.
That would be awesome. Get some of that aggression out on the forge. That'd be awesome.
That would be so much fun.
Smashing and stuff. Let's put a walnut in here and smash it,
Man, I really want to learn how to do this too. So
yeah.
I'm glad you're going to be a mentor.
That would be
for
fun.
me in the future.
Matter of fact, Jim's coming over tomorrow.
What?
He's going to come over tomorrow. He's coming over another day this week. And he is going to, under my tutelage, he is going to forge 2 blades for gifts for somebody for Christmas.
Oh,
thanks, Jim.
Cool.
You didn't have to do that.
Yeah, thanks, pal.
I want to make a machete.
I love a good word usage, by the way, with tutelage.
Well, and that's
you got to bring that word back.
Yeah, tutelage. Yeah.
I
get all my good words from Jim. Jim has good vocabulary. He really does.
He does. You had said I used to love. Well, as a kid, I loved knives, and I still love knives. Ryan bought me an easy knife for my
Easy.
birth. Easy, whatever. Anyway, I really like it. And he also bought me a big machete as well.
An EC
because
machete.
I really have always wanted one. I haven't gotten even to use it yet, but I thought we could use it if we went hiking or something. But
We go hiking all the time.
yeah, but now
them
we're near
knives-
the border, so now I kind of need it.
Them
What, you
knives
chop
are
down
good, too.
cactuses?
Well, no, just like crazy, like I don't know, bad people. It's not always like the safest place. Being
You
near
know,
the border.
Arizona for overdoses is ranked like 14th or 15th in the United States for drug overdoses.
It's
Really?
because marijuana is medical instead of
I
recreational.
looked at it today or yesterday. Or no, it was today. And
That's
Texas is
terrible.
48. The first state is
Hey.
West Virginia. West
I
Virginia is the
believe
worst
that.
state for overdoses per 100,000 people.
I bet Maryland
like-
or wherever's
It was
up there.
it was like Maryland was like fourth or fifth. No, Pennsylvania was fourth. Maryland was fifth or sixth, I think. West Virginia was 40 point something, I think.
Where was
People
Colorado?
per thousand. Colorado was like in the mid. I think it was in the 20s.
What about
Mm.
It was in the
Washington?
mid. Washington actually was back towards the back too.
Those are
You know which one
recreational
caught me off guard?
states.
You know what one caught me off guard?
What's
was Utah.
Where was
I
that?
think it was Utah or Idaho or somewhere like that. One of them states where you wouldn't think. I guess it's something that there's nothing to do. I mean, there's stuff to do for people like us, but if you're not outdoorsy, there's nothing to do. You know, so why do people do? A lot of people do drugs because they're bored. That's one of the
Yeah,
main reasons.
that's
You know,
true.
especially when you're young. You know.
Yeah, you're bored or you got family problems, but who doesn't?
Yeah, and Ohio was bad. All the Northeast was bad, which I knew. I lived in Pennsylvania for 11 years,
Mm.
and it was great. But I would not live there again.
It's
I would go
like-
visit, but I would not live there again.
Isn't there a lot of Amish people there?
A load of Amish. Like actually, we watched that show on TV. It's about where the Amish people go and they break off. You know, and
Rumspringa?
Rumspringa.
yeah, Rumspringa. Yeah, Breaking Amish is called. But like I've watched every season of it, and that's my
Oh.
wife the way like because she's never been around Amish people. I have, so I can like tell her. Like
Right.
actually, this year, the town that I lived in after I graduated high school was in it. Mifflinburg, Pennsylvania was in it, and I lived in Mifflinburg for like 6 years
Oh, wow.
after high school. Yeah, there was a girl from Mifflinburg that was leaving to go out. Yeah.
So did it show any of this like drug overdosing going on over there in Amish country?
No, and it's all heroin. You know, it's all heroin up there, but
Oh.
it's all over PA. But a lot of it that I noticed was, I mean, I had buddies that died from it when I was in high school,
Mm.
you know, and whatnot.
How
But-
awful.
A lot of it that I've seen around there, because I was in Lewisburg, which is where Bucknell University is, and you know, it's known to be, they're called preppy because there's a lot of money there. It's a
Right.
good school. It's like one of the hardest high schools, and actually the whole school, middle school, high school, whatever. It's
Wow.
one of the best in the state. It's like in the top like 3 percentile of the state or whatever.
And you're all like, I'm not an educated man.
Oh, it was bad for me. I mean, they get that. I graduated because they wanted me gone. And that's a fact. I was told that.
That's funny.
So yeah, that's a fact. But that's okay. I mean, we're honest.
Hey, you got out of a really great school, it sounds like.
I wasn't a problem. I just didn't
Didn't want to be
want to
there.
do homework.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. You spend all this time in school. You got these long periods.
I know.
Why should we have to go home and spend the rest of our freaking life doing homework when I can go I can go to work. I can make money.
You could
I
have
can
learned
do-
to forge.
Other life skills. Yeah. Besides,
Yeah.
you know, because honestly, education is not life.
Yeah.
It is not life. Common sense cannot be taught. You either have it or you
That's
don't. And you could be. I know people that are lawyers and they're idiots. You know.
Well, I would say
mean, they're
education
not-
is life, though.
Yeah, just in a different
different
sense.
type. Because you're
that's
learning
not-
right now.
Not brick and
Formal
mortar.
education.
There
though.
you go.
Sure,
in
there you
terms-
go. Not
And
formal.
especially now, it's so geared towards one side or the other or whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
they don't
it
even
is.
really teach American history no more. I don't think. From what I understand from talking to people, they don't.
Well, they do, but
Probably
it's
No, because I
it's
just
whatever
talked to
the
some of my
author is.
workers that work out here on the tree lot. They don't
Dude,
even know who Patton is.
They don't know shit. They don't know anything. I'm like, do you know that World War II happened and there was a Holocaust? I always check that
what's
one.
that?
Yeah, well, I
What's
check
that?
it because,
What
like,
was the Vietnam War? Yeah.
yeah, they don't know. And it's like, you know what? I remember learning all this shit in school, but I don't remember it. You know, I don't remember what the fuck I learned at all.
You know, and
I only know what I've learned as an
It-
adult.
Yeah, me too. That's what I remember. I mean, I know there was a foundation somewhere, but I don't know about Mesopotamia and the fucking all that. And I even took history classes in college. Like, I did that
And
for a
it's all
solid
about-
year. It's
And it
crazy.
just comes down to, if you're interested in something, you're going to pay attention.
That's a fact.
And they,
That is
and
a
they,
fact.
And teachers can't understand that. They just try to force it upon you, and it shouldn't be
Look,
forced.
You
Some
know,
of
I don't
them
know
do
if it
it
is the teachers
'cause they
more so
have
as the
to.
administrators within the
Oh,
school.
Who are not
administration, there you go.
teachers.
I think there's a lot of good teachers out there. My only pet peeve with teachers is
There's a
that,
bunch of great teachers, yeah.
you know, some of them
Yeah.
never get out of their hometown. And they start
Nope.
teaching these kids, and it's, what can you really teach anybody if you've never left your
you've never
state, your
left.
county, your
If you've
country?
never seen, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you got to get out and explore, and you're just going to be that much better of a
There
teacher.
should be like a
I think-
walkabout that
I
has to
think
be done.
teachers should be required to be well traveled.
I do.
Yeah, that's an
Absolutely.
absolute
I think well-traveled
truth.
is a good criteria, but I also think once you become well-traveled as a teacher, you deserve a lot more money
Yeah,
to
you
deal with some of
do.
these knuckleheads you have to deal with.
Oh, yeah.
It's
It's like being a knife maker.
daycare.
If you're like me, or if you're a master smith.
Yeah.
Master smiths get sell $3,000 knives
See?
all day long.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And they do, you know.
Because
Not
why
just
would you
another
get
bachelor's or a PhD and you get paid more. No. Well-traveled. I think that's
go
a good way to
collect
say that.
degrees at the same university
Yeah.
you've been going to
Get out. Go
forever.
see other
Because when you're
cultures.
Yeah, because when you're well traveled, you're going to be cultured too. It's going to happen.
Like
Absolutely.
more than 2 hours away.
Go see different systems of governance. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that's a big problem in this country now
Yes,
is
go
that people
see
don't
that.
understand the different systems of governance or have
Yes.
never been in another country where there's this extreme system of governance.
Or other states that have totally different laws.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like our kids have
Oh, yeah.
literally seen like we've lived in like, hey, what are the laws here? What are the laws here in California? You know, like they had taxes on all. They even noticed all the taxes too.
Sure.
You know, it was just crazy. Yeah, you should definitely be at least well cultured and I don't know, live somewhere for
Learned.
a year.
You need to be learned. If you're going to teach kids the 3 R's, reading,
Well,
writing, arithmetic,
and I
you need to be
also
learned.
think, too, these teachers that are forcing their political views on people, that should be not allowed.
You know,
Not-
I don't
you should
think
be
that's
neutral.
I think that's more isolated incidences.
You think so?
I do think so. I really don't think that's
if you-
that's
You talk about
prevalent. That's
current
not prevalent in Texas.
No, I don't think it's super prevalent, but it has definitely happened. You know, where they're trying to push their stuff, and you should be neutral, no matter what you think.
You have to say
right or
both
left or whatever.
sides. I agree.
Yeah, you should just be neutral, and it shouldn't be brought up. It
Yeah.
shouldn't be.
Well, here's
You're
the
there to
thing.
learn.
We
You're
should.
there to learn subjects.
Yeah, but we do need to learn. We do need to learn about politics, I think, though, because you
Oh,
know
yeah, I
we
agree.
all grew up to don't talk about money, don't talk about religion, and don't talk about politics.
And now
we're
everybody's
all
sensitive
fucking-
as shit.
and we're ignorant as shit, and we all are fighting over left and right because we don't
Oh, it's bad.
we don't
Yeah.
know. So it's like, you know, maybe we do talk, but here's the thing, like it needs to be very open-minded. It has to be both sides. It has to be positive. And yeah, you can't get some teacher on a rant about
Be very biased.
Obama or a rant about Trump or a rant about
Unbiased.
Bush. Yeah,
Right.
it needs to be both sides. With our kids, like, of course, we homeschool so they believe like whatever we tell them we also encourage them to watch the news.
Yeah, but I tell them to
we
stay
watch
open-minded.
CNN. Yes.
We
Yeah,
always
so
tell
there's-
them.
there's-
If they say
There's
something,
strengths
we
and
correct
weaknesses on
it.
both sides for sure.
Sure. And I
Yeah.
think that but I think maybe people wouldn't be so one-sided if maybe they got out of their algorithm that Facebook gave them and they could see how other
Right.
people think. I don't know. I'm not saying there's not ignorant people. We literally had a lady come in the tree lot the other day and Ryan was like, or she was like complaining about the prices being high, and Ryan's like, yeah, we've had a lot of, there were a lot of fires on the West Coast, and and damaged a lot of the farms.
Well, she asked me.
Well, what's high? How much was the tree? If you don't let me ask them.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
I don't even remember.
Let's say it was a $75 Fraser. It was like a 6 foot.
That's not expensive for
Well,
a good wide Christmas
a
tree.
6 foot Christmas tree. Okay, that would have been like $45 last year. So these have gone up like
okay.
$20, and people
Okay.
notice it because they're they have a budget on
and
Christmas.
they come here every year.
Yeah, and so they know what to expect.
But the thing
And I
was,
do remember when I was a kid buying them, and they were cheaper, but
Yeah, like
I'd pay
60.
that. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
I'm
Most people,
sure.
honestly, most people have, and they would. We've sold plenty of trees. I mean, people do. So most people don't complain. But go ahead.
But
yeah.
the deal was this lady. She comes up to me and she says, "Why are these trees so expensive?" I said, "Oh, have you heard of all the wildfires that we've had on the West Coast for the last 2-3 years?" She's like, yeah, but why are these trees so expensive? And I said, well, it's basic supply and demand. There's less supply, and there's still that same demand every single year for a Christmas tree, ma'am. I said, so the trees naturally have to go up in price because there's a premium now for these, because us personally,
loss.
we're at 2,000 trees down for this season that we're going to be able to sell. So, but I just started thinking, like, I'm not going to get into an economics lesson with this lady at a tree lot. This is not the time nor the place. And so I just ended up walking away after that. Like, if she doesn't understand it from here, she's never going to get it.
We had somebody ask
she
us what
understood,
somebody was like, what's a species? Because we were talking about, well, hey, there's different. They're like, what's the prices? We're like, well, it depends on the species of the tree and the height and the fullness. So they're all priced individually. And like, well, what's a species? And I'm like, how do you not know that? How do you not know what a species is at 20 something years old? Like, it's the type of something. It's just different. You know, I don't know. Look at it, dude. They're not all the same. Like, they're all green. I get it. You know, sometimes
my
they do
favorite joke here at this tree lot is whenever someone finds a tree that they want, I said, oh, okay, right on. What tree would you, or, you know, show me to your tree, or
what tree is it?
What tree is it? And they look me dead in the eyes and they say, the green one. And I'm being dead serious. That is my favorite corny joke that I love. That never gets old.
No, it doesn't.
So if you're going to a tree lot this year and someone asks you, oh, which tree is it? And they, you know, just tell them, oh, it's the green one. I love that joke.
I think it's funny.
Good.
I love corny jokes, though.
If people tell you that, that's what they say to you.
Yeah, they'll tell us that.
Yeah, I mean, they're joking. They like I know that they're joking around with me because they're walking to it.
Did it ever make you mad at all if you're having a bad day or anything and somebody's being a smart?
Actually, no. It pulls me out of a bad day.
Yeah,
that joke
awesome.
seriously pulls me.
It is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so corny. I love it.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got to get back to forging. I don't even know how we keep segueing off on these different topics.
It happens.
Because we're reminiscing.
Yeah, exactly. We're just having a casual conversation.
Reconnecting.
Yeah, that's all.
Whatever. So we started doing Damascus, and I don't know, because you looked at all my pictures, I'm sure, on Facebook or whatever.
Yeah.
The first Damascus knife I made was with that kind of handle that you wanted to get originally, the teal and wood, you know?
Yep. Oh, yeah, I just saw that post, and that's what made me want to buy a knife.
Yeah, it was 120 layers, and that's what actually started. That was the first of what your knife is, the first wave. I call it, that style is called the wave. Don't know why I called it that. I'm bad with names.
I love it.
I might even start asking you to help me name knives because I'm just bad at them.
Let's do this.
Horrible. And
Jim had some pretty good names.
And that was called the wave. And actually, my old roommate bought that knife from me, and I had a bunch of people wanting it. So my friends, or my wife's friend in Midland, she wanted to get one for her dad and her brother and somebody else. She wanted 3 of them. So I said, well, I can make you 2 more. But then she never said nothing else. Like, I thought she was going to make you got to put some money down. That's how it works. You don't just say, I want this knife, and then I make it. You're going to put a little bit of money down. You're going to put $1 down. And, you know, and then the process starts, you know. And, but he jumped right on it and bought it. And I think I sold that knife to him for $200, I think, with a sheath. And
nice, that's cheap.
And dude, it is, because that billet, you know, it was my first billet. I think I had 10 hours in that billet.
Wow.
And I still, to this day, unless I'm in a zone and nobody's bothering me and everything's going perfect, that still takes me sometimes 8 to 10 hours to make a good, solid, long.
That's sweat equity. Did we lose him? We might have just lost him, did we? It's beeping in.
Hold on, here he is.
Yep.
We got you, brother.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Right?
We got right to the climax of your story, and then
like,
it just went dead. I was like, shit, did the phone die?
Hey, that's kind of creepy.
NSA did not like what we were saying.
What happened?
Yeah. Get out of here, you freaking spirit, whatever. Don't make me call the pastor up. You know what I mean?
That creepy guy. Oh,
yeah,
God.
Oh, fuck. I see that dude in my house. Shit's going down, dude. For real.
It's going down.
If I see that dude walk up and he has that look in his eye, my knife is getting used.
Oh, my God. That's
I'm
so
going to go to
funny.
fish. I ain't even gonna piss. I'm gonna use a blade.
That's hilarious.
So you were talking about you have
Yeah.
just making a knife. You have a good 10 hours into making a knife.
Just in the billet. For
Wow.
these people that don't know, because a lot of people don't know what a billet is. A billet is the thing you make the knife out of. So it could be, and typically it's referred in reference to Damascus, because you make the billet, and that is the bar steel you shape out, and then you make your knife out of that. And lately I've been trying to make them 21 to 26 inches long, 1.5 inches wide. I try to shoot for 3/16 or under. Sometimes they come out a quarter thick. That's not always bad. Forge thick, grind thin. You don't get warping and stuff. And so, yeah, anywhere from 8 to 10 hours on a billet, usually. And lately, though, I'll be doing like 3 at a time. I'll make 3. So as soon as I'm done stretching the one out to 10 inches or whatever, I'll stretch it to 10 inches, and I'll sit at the side, let it cool down, and then I'll start the other one, and then I'll do the other one. And then I cut them, into the 4 pieces and restack them and all that and keep on going with it.
Nice.
So just in that, and that's when people say, well, knives are expensive. They're not. Well, my buddy, I can go on Pinterest or on an Etsy or whatever, and I'll get a Damascus knife for $140, and it's this big. And I said, yeah, and I guarantee it's not hand forged.
Sure.
I put money. If it's hand forged, that dude is giving it away.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Or he does not need money, or he does not care.
Yeah, there's no quality to it, though.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. And they look good. But here's a good example. There's a page I follow called Bladesmith Army. There's a guy on there, Travis. I forget his last name. It's Travis. He bought a so-called hand-forged Damascus knife, and he had a knife that he made, a monosteel knife, single steel. And he took this Damascus knife and put a piece of 1/2 inch round bar, mild steel round bar, in a vise. And then he started hitting this knife edge off the bar, just like Jay Nielsen does on Forged in Fire. And 1/2 inch chunks of the blade edge were flying off of this knife.
Ooh.
Okay? That's bad. 1/2 inch, I'm talking 1/2 inch high.
Yeah.
And probably a 1/4 inch wide, from front to back.
God.
And then he took his knife and held that knife in his hand, and he took slivers out of the spine of his knife with his blade that he had made. Yeah. And this knife was supposed to be hand forged, incredible.
What?
It was Pakistani cat food canned Damascus. That's what I call it. They will throw, and listen, Damascus was originally created over there, in the Middle East.
Yeah, okay.
Way, 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 way back, because they didn't have a lot of steels of one kind. They had to mix stuff. That's how Damascus came about.
Ah.
But these days, a lot of these people, because they see the market for it.
Yeah.
Okay, I was at a knife show in Tyler a while back. Me and my dad. It was a gun show, knife show, and I went there to see the knives. And there was 2 or 3 different tables with over 100. Some of them had one table probably had 200 knives sitting out, and then they had knives under there, extra knives.
Yeah.
All Damascus, not one monosteel knife, all Damascus. They looked great. If I didn't know any better, I would have probably bought one because they looked great.
Right.
And I ain't saying they weren't handmade, but they were not hand forged. They were stock removal, which is nothing wrong with that. But they were pushing them off as hand forged knives. And it pissed me off. I looked lady straight in the eye and said, "Don't lie to me." Well, I'm not lying, sir. I said, "Listen, I make knives. You see this knife on my head? I made this knife. You know how I know? And here's how I knew they weren't hand forged. When you have a Damascus knife, okay, it could be hand forged. They didn't forge in the tip. This is how you can tell if a tip was forged in. If you look at a Damascus knife and the pattern from the back of the knife to the front towards the tip, if it doesn't compress or change shape, it'll compress. That's from forging and that's from manipulating the steel.
Okay.
And curving your tip out. That's one way you could tell that's been hammered on. Now they could have hammered out the bevels and all that, but if they're not doing the tip, I highly doubt they're going to hammer out the bevels, because it's kind of like you do the tip, and then you do your bevels, and then you start messing with your handle, and and you start cleaning it all up, and that's just a process. So they're stock removal knives, but they were pushing them off as hand forged. I said, unless this dude, because she said, well, it comes from this guy's shop. I said, unless he's got 100 guys working in there, they're not forging all these, because she had 100 on the table. and then she had under each one, she had boxes of more of them.
Mm.
So what they were doing, I know what they were doing. It was Damascus. They probably had somebody make a bunch of Damascus, big sheets of it. In a foundry, you can make sheets of it, 4x8 sheets
Wow.
if you wanted to.
Wow.
And they were, I think they were CNC cutting them out. Because I guarantee you, if you bought a knife, and then I walked around the corner and I went and bought the same knife, and we mic'd them and we measured them, they'd be exactly the same precisely. I put $1,000 on it. I really do.
I think that's why this is it's not such a niche market, but it seems like it's.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with CNC cutting, but I don't like when people try to
pass it off.
You're
that irritates the fuck out of me,
degrades
dude.
your hard work that you put into your knife.
Because I run into schooly people all the time, tiny house people all the time on social media, and they are like not even living in their bus, but they are like promoting the fuck out of their lifestyle like they are, but they're literally just setting up a photo shoot. Like it's like clean, everything is like perfect, or like they from some even on Netflix. I mean, there's people that make it's just ridiculous, and they're like piggybacking off people who actually do that.
Put in the blood, sweat, and beers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But even with any handmade thing, though, like same with, candles and all that other stuff.
And they're still handmade.
Sure.
But they're pushing them off. Like, there's levels of handmade, and that's the thing.
There are
some
levels.
People say, there's some people that are so serious about it. When you're grinding your bevels in and all that, if you don't, like, I use a work rest and I use a Bill Binky file guide to set my plunge line. Like, you know what the plunge lines are, Ryan, I'm sure. That's where you're from, your handle, and then there's that space, and then there's them lines where your blade edge comes in.
Okay.
And it has the indentions. That's called your plunge line.
Okay.
And your ricosta is the area between the handle and that. And, that's how I get them even on both sides. I use that file guide. It has a carbide face on it. So I bolt it on the knife, and you notice my knives are good. I do them at an angle. I like them at an angle. I don't like them straight up and down. I used to do them straight. I think it looks a little nicer on the angle. And then I use a work rest, a work table on my grinder, but that's all I do. The angles and the degrees and everything I do freehanded.
Nice.
Some people think if you even using a work rest or anything like that, or even a file guide, you're cheating.
Wow.
You're not.
Those are the hardcores.
They are snobs. That's what they are. Here's the thing. You do whatever it takes to get to where you need to get to.
So
use
your tools.
As long as you're not deceiving people.
Sure.
I don't deceive nobody. Yeah. And like I said, there's people's opinions on what handmade is. It varies a lot.
Sure.
Some people think there's guys that are so hardcore, they think you need to smelt down your own steel and make your own steel. I'm like, dude, come on now, man. Like, yeah. If I'm trying to do some reenacting or something, maybe. You know? But this ain't medieval times now. Come on.
Dude,
sure, but you're a businessman. So you don't need to do every single step. That would just seriously eat into your time, which eats into your profit. So you have to start somewhere where you're going to start making money.
Yeah, I don't think people want to pay for a knife that I'd have to do all that because it wouldn't be cheap.
Right.
Yeah,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And so, yeah, like I went to that same show. I went to another table. There's a man there, a gentleman standing there. He had beautiful Damascus knives, sharp. Well, hey, that's another thing. If you ever go to a show and you pick up a knife, first off, ask. Even if it's the crappiest looking knife you've ever seen, always ask. But don't. A lot of people run their fingers over the edge at a show. It's okay way to check sharpness, but like, so if you ever go to a high-end knife show, I don't know if you ever will, Ryan, or anything, or Morgan, but if you ever do, like with some high-end kitchen knives, sometimes they sharpen them down to like with 6,000 grit.
Ooh.
And like it'll be so fine and so you won't even really feel that. It'll just touch your finger.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Before you can even feel it, your fingers half lopped off, probably. Like, or down to the bone for sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like
dude.
that's sharp. Yeah.
I stabbed myself with a butcher knife once when I was a kid.
Like if you go and look up Neil Kamamura, he was on Forge of Fire. He makes some of the sharpest knives I've ever seen in my life. He is literally he has a toilet paper or a paper towel roll freestanding, and he took this kitchen knife he had, and he makes other knives too, and he downward hacked it, downward sliced it, and clean cut, and it's the first time I think it was still standing, and the second time he did it, it did knock over. But I mean, it's like effortless. Dude, and they're so sharp. It's I don't know.
I'd be
I
scared.
want them sharp. I got to learn how to sharpen like he does. He is out of control.
Sure.
But yeah. So this guy went to his table and he's like, he said my family owns a foundry in McKinney. You know what McKinney is?
Yeah.
And it's like an hour from me. And they make their own Damascus. And he said, I stock and move my knives. But he told me plain out. And right then I liked him because he wasn't lying or trying to deceive anybody.
Right.
And he had some great looking knives. He actually had a push dagger. I almost bought it.
Ooh.
I almost bought he had a push dagger, which I love them knives. They're great. You know, it's obviously just for self-defense, but they're really cool.
I like the daggers too.
Yeah, that has like the T handle, you know, you put in your hand, and it has the double-edged blade sticks out, 3, 4, 5 inches.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of Ryan's buddies, Jesse, taught the girls how to throw knives with some throwing knives or whatever.
That guy, I like that guy. That guy was good. He
Yeah.
wasn't trying to deceive anybody.
That's
He had
good.
some nice. He is a weird steel that not weird, but I'm not familiar with all my steels yet. He used L6 in his Damascus, which I guess is real expensive. And because I've tried to find it and acquire it, and when I do find it, it's very expensive. But his Damascus was real, like, 'cause I used 15 and 20, and my nickel was bright. His was really bright, like super, super chromy looking. It was great looking. But he wasn't deceiving nobody, and that's what I liked about him. And there was a couple of guys there that only had 15 or 20 knives, and you could even see that they had 4Gs. There was still scale on them, and I'm talking hammer marks. Not anybody can put scale on a knife, but there was actually the indentions, from hammering on from hitting the hammer too hard on one angle,
Okay.
Right.
And they were really nice. So, in that remark, I think you just got to do whatever you have to get to where you need to be, as long as you're not deceiving anybody.
Right.
I
Or
agree with
falsifying information. Yeah.
Yes. Be
I'm not a
original
bad-
and be yourself.
Yeah. Because I'm by no means a master forger at all. But
I'm sure
I
you're still
definitely
learning, Everybody
from
is.
from January to now, it's 100%, like 1,000% difference.
Sure.
And I'm sure by next year it'll be the same thing.
Sure.
But you're putting in the sweat equity, And it's
Yeah,
good.
I'm trying to get more serious about it. I'm going to go here in January. I'm going to go get a CPA and all that, and accounting.
Nice.
I'm going to start charging sales tax on all my blades. So that's why the prices have went up a little bit. I'm including the shipping in the price, and I included a little more material cost, and then the sales tax.
Nice.
So
That's good.
if anybody that does listen to this, because I have people that I told to listen to this when it gets put on,
Nice.
that knows me, if they want to know why the prices went up, that's why. Plus, it's kind of covering my time a little bit more. Still, when you're first starting out knife making, you're not going to cover your time 100%. If you do, you're very lucky, because a lot of times the amount of time you'd be working, you'd have to make it such a low dollar amount that
Yeah.
it really, I don't even count it.
And probably just enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
And I don't have no fancy shop, but I'm totally grateful for what I have. It's way better than some people got. Some people are out there just a roof, wide open with the wind blowing.
Yeah.
And but I just like going to work every day, and it's at home. My shop is 120 feet from my back door.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
Unless somebody comes to the totally opposite end of the house and tries to get in, you can't get on my property without me knowing, really, unless they come that way.
Nice.
I guess now they know that's probably not good, but whatever. But like the other day, people drove up and actually pulled up to my shop. I had the door shut and it was cold, and I'm in there jamming to some Jimmy and the Johnsons, as a matter of fact.
Nice.
And I was jamming, and I had the grinder running, and you could walk right behind me, and slit my throat, and I wouldn't even know.
Yeah, right.
My dad has walked in that shop, taken something out, and walked out 3 times, and I never knew he was there.
It's loud, I'm sure.
When the door was wide open, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, I was just there. And I was like, he called me. I was like, no, you weren't. He's like, yeah, I took this. And I was like, what? Like, it freaked me out because I was like, I didn't even know.
Oh, my
God.
God.
You're supposed to be aware of your surroundings, not like in La La Land,
Yeah, but you're in La La Land making beautiful works of art.
Right.
Yeah, and you got to focus, and especially when you're on the grinder. That is the hardest. To me, that's the hardest aspect of knife making is grinder work. It is hard.
Really?
It's all. And you think it's like, oh, I'm gonna go in here and just grind this thing. It's all about pressure and sound. It's really, it's like if you watch me, I'll be on there and I'll be grinding, and it looks like I'm like pushing. I'm barely even putting pressure on it, and it's taking off material. it's all about pressure. I learned that when I first started grinding, dude. I made a knife one time. It was a nice looking knife, actually. It was gonna come out nice. By the time I was done doing the bevels and putting the edge on, it shrunk so much, and I didn't even realize it. I had just gotten this grinder. This thing is a beast, and I was going to town on it, and I didn't have a knife left. Dude. It was like it went from like a nice wide belly knife to like a steak knife. You know what I mean? like seriously, like I was like, well, okay. And that was the machine, and I was running it too fast and stuff because it has a variable speed controller on it and all that. And man, you get on a 36 grit belt, a good ceramic belt, and if you push too hard, you're not going to have nothing there. It's going to be gone.
Okay.
You're going to start getting low spots. Yeah, that's the hardest thing. I could teach you how to forge in 2 hours, guaranteed. You can go in there and make a knife every time. Because there's the thing, it's not going to be 100%. I mean, unless you really want it to be, you could fool with it. It's just going to take you longer. But you could get a nice shape with a point or semi close to a point, because I don't ever get it to where it's like you can stab somebody with it. It's blunt, you know.
Yeah.
And you can start your handle. You know, I usually start my finger groove on the anvil with a hammer and the horn and stuff, and then I'll start because especially your knife, Ryan. You know how it has all them contours and stuff.
Yep.
You could hammer them out, but it'd be very tricky to do it, and not because when you hammer on the steel, you're also upsetting it. You're widening it. You know, making it thicker because you're pushing it out. And you don't want to do that too much because then you got to do all this extra grinding. So I do the handles a little. I'll forge in the handles a little bit. If they're a basic handle, I'll forge them in all the way, close to shape. But like yours and stuff, I just do the finger groove and I'll start kind of getting the basic shape. And then all them, like, you know, the dips and all that, the swells and all that, I do that on the grinder and stuff. So,
okay.
Yeah. So I'd say I forge 90% of the knives are forged to about 60 to 70%. And then the rest is done on the grinder. Yeah.
Huh.
Wow.
Well, hey, we're about to wrap this up, man. We've already been doing 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah, it's long.
What?
It's great, though.
Time flies.
It lets your followers and people that purchase knives from you kind of hear a little bit about you.
Found out you're a father.
Yeah, just kind of your background. So I think it's good.
So what would you like to get out there before we go?
Yeah.
What's one thing you would like that you wanted to get out?
Well, if you want to look me up, go to BCKnives Texas on Instagram and then BCKnives on Facebook. And the current website is www.bcknivestexas.com. And I'm always taking orders, so don't ever think you can't get a knife. You just might not be able to buy a knife right on the spot. You're going to have to order it probably. We're going to work on that, and I'm going to be coming out with some new styles soon. Besides that, just try to follow me if you want. And if you have any questions, any information on anything, I'll be glad to help. And that's about it.
And yeah, Chase, if you can, send me your links to all that, and I will have it on my description on everywhere we put it, YouTube as well, and all that stuff. So they'll be able to just click right to it.
Awesome. And it was a real honor to be on here. It makes me feel important to have me on here, and like I'm a big shot.
You are. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It was a lot of fun. It was really good to hear from you again.
Yeah, it was just sometimes you guys are gonna have to come out here, or we'll have to come out
there. For sure. I have a feeling we'll be driving through at some point in the future. I know we have to make a trip over that way, so it might be sooner than later.
I'll buy the beer, so.
Only if it's the Shiner, right, Ryan? I guess we could.
I've been on a Miller Lite kick lately, so Jim got me on a Miller Lite.
Nice. Well, thanks, Chase, so much. We appreciate you being on the podcast. Thanks so much.
We're coming to you from our 49 square foot podcast studio, 100% powered by solar in our schooly Chitty Bang.
You can find our shenanigans online at thecrabshomestead.com and Talkin' Chitty on Facebook and Instagram. You can also follow our schooly life on Facebook at Chitty Bang Schooly and Instagram at The Crabs Homestead.